are going to carry out an in-depth analysis of the publication from the Republic, which talks about the instant riches or the generational wealth that President Barrow have done. The Republic inside the multi-million dollar Gambia government venture that makes the President Nephew a major food importer. The introduction I want to do here first, before going further into the publication itself. I want to summarize to say, this is a classic indication of a dictatorship. And when people ask, whether Barrow, these are his mouthpiece, or Barrow is peaceful, or Barrow, at least Barrow is not like Yaya Jammeh, and so on and so forth. Or you cannot say that Barrow is a dictator. That's a lie. It's either being ignorant or being a liar. Because if you're not ignorant, you know that this is not the traits, this is the behavior of a dictator. Why is it the behavior of a dictator? Dictators make sure that all institutions, independent institutions, because in democracy, we have what we call the balance of power. We have the check and balances. In governance, we'll have the executive, which is him and his cabinet, and what runs the cabinet. Then we have the legislature, members of parliament, that represent the people, voices for the people's interests. Then we have the judiciary. The judiciary, as we know, in the courts and court services. Then the other bit should be us or people in the media for that matter. But in that setting, as operations run, they are run by institutions which are supposed to be independent, called the civil service, and which is supposed to be independent, being the mercenary of the government in order to make sure they govern effectively. Now, there's a good reason why this power balance is divided, and to make sure the independent institutions are independent, or the supposedly independent institutions are independent. There's a purpose for this. The only time an executive goes round to undermine all this setup, we have seen in the case of the House of Parliament, where he come out to admit paying of parliamentarians, paying off. That's an impeachable offense, and he can be thrown out. We let that slide. Where we have seen the way and manner people are appointed to head institutions, especially the critical institutions, the armed forces, the police services, or the police force we call them. Now we have seen what is happening at the audit department. We all know what happens in the other places. But when we get to this case itself, we just see what happens to the supposedly the Central Bank of the Gambia. It just returned to Yaya Jammeh banks, just as it was the Yaya Jammeh time. This is when people start to do this, they are laying the foundations, to be a dictator. That's where it starts. And fear. They instill fear. Fear will come in many ways. Yaya Jammeh fear have to come straight from the instrument of force, because that's how he even came up, to capture the state. Because he came through a coup d'etat, there's no other way apart from just to continue. Because he was already illegitimate. For him to stay in power, he have to use those brands of power in order to stay in power. But if you come out democratically, you are to improve what you have inherited. In the case of inheriting Yaya Jammeh, you are to reform or revolutionize the way you operate. It's not a continuity. Continuity, that's what we did, or that's what Barrow did. That's why we are in a dictatorship. And the fear, in the case of in a democracy, is by harassing, is by making people feel insecure for their livelihood, that you will replace them, you throw them out. This is what we have witnessed through the course of Barrow's government. The only people that Barrow maintains are the people that are absolutely corrupt. Most of the people he in fact brought into government at the earliest stage is people that would do exactly what Jammeh was doing, and those were the people who did exactly. They were the people that enabled Jammeh and being the mechanism that Jammeh have used to entrench himself. And these are the people he's employing now. Now the other system he's taking from Jammeh is fear. It's fear of losing your job, fear of your livelihood, and so on, to the extent of even harassing. That leads to what? Corruption. This is where the corruption will come in. Corruption will play a major role before even human rights abuses, or physical abuses will come in. If we resist, it's when we resist that we'll be attacked. If we allow it just go until we all die from suffer, indignity and starvation. This is where we are going. What the generation today are facing in the back way, it's what it is. We are not saying entirety is Barrow's fault, but he could have improved if he had used our resources in the way and manner it should have. And we will see where the resources have been. And this is where they go on the human rights abuses. Next is to entrench themselves. Entrench themselves on a unlimited time. This is what we call the third term syndrome, where supposedly a democratic country that will have this principle in a developing democracy to have a 2-term, you resist that. When they try to resist the second term, it's because they are absolutely corrupt, they're selfish, and they just want to stay there forever to protect themselves, because that's the only way they can protect themselves. It starts with corruption, human rights abuses, now they want to stay forever. Forever. They will start to say, oh, technicality, we have to do this so that I can have a third term. And if you allow them that third term, then they have a way. You have already opened the floodgates. They will go as far as they can. They will never give it back to you on a plate. The smart ones will give it back, knowing that they will be in a better place. This is why Rawlings had the audacity to stay in Ghana and nothing happened to him, because he was smart enough to make sure he gave it back, in fact, better than what he inherited. He gave Ghana back better than what he inherited. Nobody forced him to give it back. He negotiated and made sure the 2 terms entrenched. Economically, socially, every form of indicator here, Ghana was better. And Ghana is better today because of this foundation that Rawlings have left. That's why he was not bothered. He had to go and make sure he entrenched democracy rather than try to entrench himself and his family. And the evidence of that, Rawlings have not entrenched any member of his family. Not the wife, not the kids, no, not uncles or brothers or in-laws or anything for that matter. People that took over from him, they don't even belong to his tribe. They just belong to his political party, and he did internal democracy in the party. And so today, this parliament, his party is still alive, and the party is in government right now. Tell me how many head of states in Africa have left power and have their party still in power. In Nigeria, the parties have to change every minute. We cannot count Nigeria because parties crisscross every minute. The entire corrupt systems continue with the politics. It's only Rawlings we can credit for that. All the others, when they are booted out from the ballot box, they are normal because he handed over power. He did not challenge power. His children went to Ghanaian universities, and whoever had the potential went outside. They are right now in Ghana, in the legislature, in institutions, working as ordinary Ghanaians would do. They did not inherit millions, billions, or anything absolutely. They are free in Ghana and respected in Ghana. That's an example. Let's look at the nearest example, Senegal. Right today, the former vice president who was running for this, his son is in prison for money laundering. Linked to the former president's son for money laundering. And likeliness of almost most of the senior ministers and executives would be in prison, or they will have to pay up. They are completely destabilized. Their families are completely destabilized. The former president Macky Sall had to leave town before even properly handing over the government. He did not spend the night in Senegal because he felt the fear that he had put into this thing, the brutality and everything that he had dispensed onto people. That's what he was fear of. And this is where we are going with Barrow. And the entrenchment, as I said, it will be forever. Don't think this about these 3 years. I'll tell you something. Macky Sall was not looking for Tata. Macky Sall was looking for stay forever until he probably, one of his children or someone else with the family, to take over. What we saw what we are witnessing with Paul Biya and other, Alassane Ouattara and others. Who would have told you that Alassane Ouattara will go for 4th term? You think Alassane Ouattara then will ever give up? He will have to die. That's how they are. They are cowards. Once they commit these crimes, they become cowards. Macky Sall intentionally went on to try to do a technicality, just as his predecessor did, Wade, trying to reduce the time limits in order to rely on that, to go further. To go further. What happened? He tried the third time. Senegal stopped him. That's why Senegal had change today. If we don't bring about change now and let Barrow to cross, Barrow will be looking up to who is going to inherit him from his family. He's just testing us, testing Gambians. Testing Gambians. Just a minute, let me take out this ignorant fool before. I'll just ignore it for now. I didn't have time to. We move on to understand that what we are witnessing, this is part of what we call the generational wealth. And I would say this, if we analyze what have happened, this wealth is not only that Barrow is creating wealth for Amadou, but Barrow is creating wealth for a dynasty. This is what they do for dynasties. They'll come over from beginning of taking over from one industry, they will end up taking all the other industries. They will overtake all the other industries. This is what they're planning on. And we will see how they move around, bringing and introducing Amadou Sane into this. Let's start from the beginning. As I'm going to read from what Republic have published. Before his uncle Adama Barrow became president, a little-known Amadou Sane worked as a cashier at his property management business, Majum, collecting rent at properties his uncle managed. Majum is reasonable small business whose estimated turnover in 2020 was 1 million, calculated based on the 31 million tax it had it paid that year. This is 2020, and I can tell you, when Barrow investigated, they lied about the tax paid, the turnover because of the tax. By 2020, Majum owned many properties, not only doing rental now, they own properties, renting them out. But they would do this because of what the corruption. They will not pay tax. They will not pay the tax required. It continued to say in 2022, Sane, the son of the president's late twin sister Hawa, was listed by the National Audit Office as one of the ineligible holders of Gambia diplomatic passport. Yeah, he was put issued a diplomatic passport, and I think he's a covert, what do you call them? Oh yeah, business ambassador or something of sort. Now let's come to the money. The WinWin 230 million facility. Also, it was meant to be. Let me say this before we go through that WinWin. The Alaji Kebe was a front, and we will prove that. Alaji Kebe was a front being used. Alaji Kebe was known fraudster, and now because of Amadou Sane, he's not very smart anyway. Lack of experience into the trade. They brought this company WinWin, and another company they tried, which is we'll come to the other company name. They tried two companies, and they are both fraudsters because they both companies should not even have the audacity to face another bank, because they are all they are going through trials in the Gambia. Now, by mid-2021, an election year in the Gambia, the dominant concern for president was the rise in inflation, which averaged around 7% that year. As half-hearted attempt at reducing the food price, the ministers of trade and finance came up with a joint venture, agreeing with a private company, WinWin OLG Limited, WinWin overdraft facility, a credit arrangement, allowing WinWin overdraft facility arrangement, allowing for overdrawn funds available on one bank account for a set period, and issued to the company 15% rate, was imposed on a government-owned bank, the now old mega bank, with a sovereign agreement from the Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs, aiming to allow WinWin engage in food import as part of facility. As part of the facility, the bank pay the supplier directly. You guys just ignore him. Just ignore him. Now, what is happening here is simple fact. We Gambian business person can just walk to the Ministry of Finance and Trade and ask for such facilities be guaranteed sovereignty. And why would that happen? Any Gambian, let's say the most credible Gambian businessman, because they will be using the excuse, or they want to give it to Gambians, which is a lie. Because the privileges they give into Wage and others are far greater than they will give to any Gambian. They don't care about being Gambian or not. They care about being their partner. To allow this facility to run, that should be the first question. Why? How did they come about WinWin? How did they come about considering the other company? Because they were introduced by Amadou. Amadou brought WinWin and Salam. I'll get down to the other company's name, which they found did not qualify, but WinWin was time to be qualified. Now they allowed this for what? For Amadou to have a start in the business. And this is going to be proven when we go down. Source told the Republic that the Minister of Trade selected two companies. They were WinWin Oil and Rahma Gambia Limited. After the due diligence, Megabank chose WinWin. An officer at the Megabank told the Republic that Rahma does not have the capacity to execute the facility. I think there was some kind of a process, claimed Alaji Kebe, the main shareholder at WinWin, not as formal as a written application also. I know some businesses were identified and come on spot checks from there. They visited our office, they visited our warehouse. We were called to a meeting and been given this facility. Now, you'll find out where this lie is. To say that an appraisal was done, an assessment was done to qualify Alaji Kebe of WinWin. Rahma is a dodgy company itself. It's in the court for not paying suppliers. It's a dodgy company as they come. Don't see the owner being eloquent and smart dressed or anything. He is as criminal as they come. And Alaji Kebe is criminal as they come. They could not have passed. How come a government, the bank not tell you, this is the process we went through, these are the 6 companies we consider, and this company came out. And any sensible manager would not take something of this great importance to give it to a single individual company. And as we go through this analysis, we find out that looking through the records, this guy should not even be near a bank. People like this near a bank should be arrested because they are criminals. They are just better than those that will come with weapons, but they are using the power vested on authorities and to rob our banks. It continued to say that at the time, the government of India, which placed a temporal ban on export of rice, made a temporal exception for some African countries, including the Gambia. This facility was meant to bring at least 12,500 metric tons of rice to the Gambia. According to internal records seen by the Republic, the government wishes to use WinWin to break the dominance of foreign nationals in the rice import market and bring the price of rice to $1,000. We all know it did not happen. It never happened. Prices have never gone down in this since Barrow came to power. Now, if we consider now what is saying that there's an opportunity given, Gambia, it was not Alaji Kebe given this privilege by the Indians. It could have been understand. Alaji Kebe said, look, I am the only Gambian allowed to do this. But no, Gambia was allowed to have this. This was the time of the COVID. Why can't we bring consortium of Gambian businesses to spread the risk, to make sure, these things are delivered well, where the Gambia government would not even need a sovereign guarantee. This is the thing. The importation of rice and all these things, there are so many players. It's not that there's no player. That you have to create, if your government have to create a conducive environment, can do that through tax, elevating tax and all the transactions. But not to say that, what we have to do to select a criminal, in order to give them out. It's not Alaji Kebe they're giving it to. And that would be proven. It was Amadou Sane. And whenever we said Amadou Sane, we're talking of the farm. The farm is the president and his family. It's the first ladies and the children. The entirety, this is the wealth they are creating for themselves. Just as it happens in Congo, Gabon, and all these dictatorial countries, and it was happening in Senegal. We know that prices have never been reduced. Then where was the fault? We'll get to that. Registered in October 2017, an overdraft facility of 230 million was approved for WinWin by Megabank in June 2021. Wavering the rules and ignoring the red flags, a 90% share of WinWin was owned by Alaji Kebe, a conservative figure currently, controversial figure currently in the court for economic crime. Kebe reportedly received 64 million from 39 vendors to supply 58,500 bags of 50 kilograms of rice to the government, but only 17,096 bags were delivered. 230 million to Kebe. You think, tell me any ordinary citizen or even businessman, if Taff wanted 230 million, they will not give it to him. And he have a proven track record. All the business people have a proven track record will not be given to them unless they pay huge bribes. But this is a facility for the president through Amadou, then using Alaji Kebe as a front. The rise was part of government relief efforts to supply vulnerable families during the COVID-19 pandemic, delivered from March 2020 to October 2020. The 230 million facility for Quebec WinWin would come several months later. The guy is already a known villain. During the COVID, we talked about this, that these businesses were given to people who are close to the president and they will not deliver because nothing will come out of it, and nothing will come out of it. It's in the courts and they will delay it in the courts, and next minute Gambians forget about it, it will be withdrawn and thrown away. The ongoing trial is not Quebec's first trouble with the law. After leaving Ghana, where he briefly lived, the Ghanaian District Magistrate Court in February 2020 issued an arrest warrant for him to reportedly defrauding someone of 998,500 cedis, equivalent to $185,000, 915 at the time. In addition to those red flags, internal records at the Central Bank of the Gambia, the Mega Bank, and the Financial Ministry show Quebec owe 14,230,607 to Keystone Bank, the same bank renamed Mega Bank, which after his collateral for the loans was sold in an execution order by the court, dropped to 12,998,107. This debt still owned by is at the AMRC. He still owns that money. Now, what sort of assessment did the central bank did? What sort of assessment did the Minister of Trade did? What sort of due diligence did the Finance Ministry conduct in order to allow this to happen? To allow these things to happen? Where? These are records available to them. We are not talking about what happened in Ghana. These are records in with their ministries. Even with Keystone Bank will tell you this guy is a fraudster. He must have paid the bankers at Keystone Bank to put in a collateral that could not cover the loan. That's how they do it. They go to private banks, bribe their ways out, give collaterals that are not, cannot cover that loan. And next minute, when they default, the banks get run into trouble. This is why Keystone Bank run into trouble. Now they received taken over by Mega Bank, and the same person was considered. The records are there. Now, tell us, why would the bank do that? Now, why would the central bank governor, the board of Mega Bank, the Ministry of Trade, the Minister of Finance, all ignore all the red flags and give out this loan? If this was not meant that there's instructions coming from the State House to say that we want this guy to have this loan, it cannot be justified. The loan cannot be justified. The only way you justify the loan is that the one from the top, the president, and because of the nephew and because of their generational wealth deal, that's why they did this. Gov't denied owning Keystone Bank anything or having any debt with the AMRC. However, part of the document he submitted to Mega Bank was a letter from the AMRC debt recovery unit indicating he agreed to settle the debt owed after accessing the loan. After the transaction, transition to the control of CBG, all bad debts, Keystones were forwarded to AMRC. Now, this guy has even provided the evidence that he owed money from the same bank you just rescued, knowing that it bad debt from that bank. Why consider that? Why consider him? If not for the president. Boise will not tell you that he did it because it's a good thing to do. None of them will run their businesses like that. If pressure was not coming from the head of the State House, they would not have done it. I'm not excusing what they did, but to tell you that it's because of Barrow they did this. And they are all culpable for this crime. And the reason again that nothing is coming out of this is because of Barrow will be implicated. Just as many other deals. And again to remind viewers, this will lead me back to the Auditor General's office. This is why Barrow. These are all the reports. If an investigation journalist can pull out this much, just imagine, investigation journalists, what they do, they have strategy, they have tactics, they build relationship to do this. But the audit office have authority to request disclosures. They are well trained, they are forensic accountants, they are well trained, they are lawyers, and they can get everything. They have manpower, they have resources. Imagine what would they bring out. This is the reason, again, that Barrow is doing what he's doing. Now, we having ignored all these red flags in April 2021, the mega bank with green light from the Minister of Finance and Minister of Trade approved an overdraft facility with the government as the sovereign guarantor. With the government as the sovereign guarantor. Why would government guarantee an individual who have a bad track record? Bad track record. Alaji Kere. No proven good track record. Nothing ever delivered in his life. From Ghana to here. They did that because of Barrow. Which is illegal, which is wrong. The company could only provide collateral to landed properties with a total value of 15.5 million, less than 7% of the total facility through the bank board approved collateral with a sale value of at least 25 million. 7%. 7%. Now, genuine Gambian investors, business people, experience, knowledge, proven track record, or so, or even to be tested, tried, they are no. These are known criminals that have paper trails and everything all around. You don't have to go far to find that, he's not eligible. Then why is he eligible? Because of he's doing it for Barrow. Yes, through, Amadou Sane, and this is going to be proven in what's written here. The credit risk policy of the bank, reviewed by the Republic, shows that the required collateral for any such facility is 150% of the total. And any such collateral must be confirmed adequately by the bank's trained valuers. According to their credit risk policy, on June 11, 2021, the board of Megabank approved the overdraft facility, but there was another problem. The facility was above the 25% of capital cash the deposit every bank is required to have with the CBG of the bank. As such, the bank can only go ahead with it after the CBG appointed board approved with final approval from the governor of Central Bank. You see the amount of hurdles they have to jump in order to deliver this. What is so special about that boy? Is it about Barrow seeing him being handsome? Or what? I don't even know who he is. I've never seen his photo. What is so special about him? You hurdles against the collateral was not enough. Risk? No. Oh, now even the bank, we are putting the bank at risk. We're putting the bank at risk now. Now, the guy cannot afford to be given the eggs. To be given the eggs. No, now you have to risk that hen that laid the eggs. You have to risk that. Because we all know banks' capital are controlled. And this is the central bank for that matter. In order to make sure the bank stay liquid and this bank is sustainable. But they overrule that. And it's not that they don't know. We all know they're carrier bankers. They will tell you that how educated they are, how experienced they are. Why the excuse of the wrongdoing? Today you ask them, they'll say no comment. But if you bring them before a court, they'll tell you that Barrow, the instruction came from Barrow. Yeah, they will shamefully say that. That's why they will not go to a court. Nothing will come out of it. Just as the Russian deal, every other deal, Barrow is involved, nothing comes out of it. But a new government comes in and hold them accountable, they will be singing like a parrot. Oh, it was Barrow, yeah, it was this person, or this is governor, and the governor say, yeah, I Barrow. We all had what happened at the Janet Commission, which was not even competent enough. I'm not talking about commissions anymore. We are going straight to the courts with a competent government to make sure these people pay. It continued to say, at the central bank, there was a committee to recover bad debts from Keystone Bank. A former first deputy governor, Dr. Sekou Jabi, chaired this committee. He also advised against going ahead with the facility. If you have a bad debt and it's not been paid, you cannot give another facility to that person. That means Alaji Kebe. Dr. Jabi told the Republic on July 7, 2021, the internal records at the central bank shows that the first deputy governor requested a 6-month cash flow statement of the company, evidence of the company credit history in the banking industry, and tangible collateral, amongst others. You see, there are good people in every system, but they ignore that advice. This is a first deputy governor. Advice that, no, other measures he should not even be considered. But hence you are considering him, let's do this to minimize the risk. And one of those is, let him show us his cash flow last 6 months. Which bank will give you money without not knowing your cash flow in the 6 months or 3 months minimum? No, they ignore that. Oh, let's make sure he has the collateral to protect the bank, our interests. They ignore that. Just imagine. Why did they have to go all the way to ignore all these red flags if Barrow was not the interested party here? Kebe, you've been used as a front because he's a fraudster, he is easy to be used. Amadou because he's a Nahanun, I mean, he doesn't comprehend nothing at that time, he was in the learning process. I mean, he had to let this guy front. He also suggested that, this is Dr. Jabi, suggested that the mega banks syndicate the facility with other banks to reduce risk and concentrations, whilst raising concerns about the debt owned by WinWin main shareholder Kebe. After these recommendations were ignored, Dr. Jabi told the Republic, I raised concern that the loan cannot go ahead. Dr. Jabi refused the loan. Dr. Jabi is no more with the bank. The Dr. Jabi will not be given an extended contract because of this is why. Because he was not delivering on what Barrow wants. He was not delivering on what Barrow wants. Now they have to get him out and get many people out. And we'll get to that. 12 days later, the governor of Central Bank, Boasedi, approved the waiver, allowing the bank to exceed the credit limit that can be provided to a borrower for a facility, known technically as a single obligor waiver. The Central Bank of the Gambia must approve the any bank lending of more than 25% of its capital. This governor of Central Bank. Now, people wonder why the dollar is depreciating. And this war said it will come before us every time to lie. It's lies. Oh, the bank is doing, the economy is doing well, the physicals are doing well. It's all lies. They are doing recklessly. And we'll get to even the most reckless things, other things they do. How can we recover the dollar? How can we recover? The money that's meant for development is going to shady deals, and those businesses will not be sustainable because the people running them, they don't have the know-how and they don't have the discipline, they don't have experience. What they do is once the money kick in, they marry wives, they buy cars, they get into the politics, they buy properties outside the Gambia, and this is what they do. This is what they do. Then how can we develop? How can we develop? Let me just remind Gambians, if any Gambian know of our development program, please put it there. We used to have the National Development Program. It's NDP, yeah, National Development Program. Now it's Personal Development Program, PDP. It's personal. They are developing. You don't hear anything about development programs. They don't have it. Case in point, the tractors delivered the other time, the share of tractors that Gov't Ababakar Jaw was meant to deliver is not delivered. And he's taking advance of the money. Nothing comes out of it. And let me stop here to remind viewers here. Boisedi came into the bank to facilitate this deal, or these deals. First, let's catch up. The bank was led by Bakari Jammeh. Bakari Jammeh was invited at State House. This is something I have reported many times. When Bakari was invited at State House, Bakari found business people from Congo and those regions with Wage. This Wage guy, the Senegalese guy, I forgot the first name again. And what they wanted was for the government to sell Megabank to Wage. I mean, this business group. Bakari objected, professionally objected, by saying, oh, I mean, it has to be done this, we have to do it this way, the internal, I mean, explain everything rightly. Barrow was not happy. A month or two after, Bakari was removed from the central bank and to so-called, again, the Minister of Trade to be appointed as Minister of Trade. Bakari tenure is protected, just as in the case of the Auditor General. Because Bakari refused to do what they want, they have to remove him. In this case, Modu refused, Kalilu Wage, thank you. In this case, Modu Sise refused to cover up what they did, he's removed. You see the dictatorship I was talking about. Now, when Bakari was removed, Bakari challenged the courts. But when Bakari challenged the courts, Bakari did not challenge to be reinstated. Bakari challenged to be paid the contract. He got paid, he left for international appointment. In this difference here, Modu Sise is requesting that he is lawfully occupying an office and he is to be reinstated. He still have the option, regardless how it turned out at the at the Supreme Court, and it can only turn out one way. If it turns out any other way, we will tell you, we'll bring the receipts, we'll show you evidence how they did it. We have evidence. Already, at the beginning, we have evidence what these people are trying to do at the at the Supreme Court, and we'll tell you that if they manage to do that, I'm not going to say this, but look at the criteria. Who is going to be the judge? Who are the people who is going to be judged to take up this case? There are two criteria we are looking at. If that criteria, that this person, the person they put in there fits that criteria, we will raise concern. But still, we will let the court to decide. Once the court decides, we will come at receipts if the court did not decide the right way. Because it can only be one way. Justice is only one way. Now, this is what they created. Now they brought Boisedi. And guess what? Megabank got sold to the people. Same people. I had their profile before. Same people that were in that meeting with the president, with Wage. Now, Megabank technically, being Wage having shares or been part of this, they either had a huge kickback from it or they are holding something for them. This is why we should not be surprised that this is happening. It's all architects are from central bank. From the State House. Now let's continue here. 12 days later, the governor of central bank, Boisedi, approved a waiver allowing the bank to exceed the credit limit that can be provided to a borrower for a facility, known technically as single obligor waiver. The central bank must approve any bank in lending of more than 25% of its capital. We did not have an option to reject the facility. We were given the option to choose between WinWin and Rama. Which company to go with? A staff member of Megabank, familiar with the facility, who does not want to be named, told the Republic none of the concerns we raised were addressed. Just imagine this. How can you dare to say that the private sector of the Gambia and other option the government could have taken? Government could have gone in many ways to, in fact, create a youth enterprise fund or whatever it is to make sure this is done. No, they said they have no option but two set of criminals they have to deal with. The entire Gambia. What a lie that is. That's not said I don't have a choice. Oh, then you have to risk our money. Why not hold on to it? People are already importing. Because what you said, are you trying to make sure price go down? You did not achieve that. It's a lie. It was done for Amadou Sane. Because it's coming from the president. Just say that. Yes, we don't have an option. We only have Rama. The reason I'm saying they're criminals, Rama is in the courts and defrauding business people, and Alaji is in the courts many times, in fact, and even from Ghana, he's running from Ghana. These are the two options we have out of the Gambian business people we have. Because they're trying to use the word Gambian as well, as if they care about a Gambian businessman. That's a lie. Now they have given passport to all these Turkish, all these Indians and others in order to make deals with them, because now those are the people they can trust to do deals. Knowing that when they do the Gambia, it will come out. We move to the second aspect of this. Inside, the WinWin failed and JV was born. This is where it's going to be very interesting to note that Amadou's name is going to come up. If you remember at the first instance, we talked about Alaji Kebe owning 90%. Who owns the 10% was not addressed in this in the publication, was not addressed. But I can tell you that the 10% silent was how to call it, was Amadou Sane. And one thing about these things is, don't see what they put on paper. They have their gentleman agreements behind the scenes. That's why when things go foul, they can do nothing. Don't see what's on paper. Jammeh used to do that a lot. And he will give 80% to Baba Job. But later what we find out, it was on paper. It was not actual. And he will create the Ansumana Mane, Ansumana Jammehs and others percentage of businesses. It's all his creation. This is what Barrow is doing. And to say that, Pabo, how to call it? I was talking to someone today and even brought more clarity. Amadou Sane, it's kind of a Paboyan. You know, Paboyan was created by Jammeh, his nephew, because Jammeh did not have children that were mature enough to run a business or do certain things. Because our investigations was looking into this Amadou Sane. Now we have seen all the traits of or all the attributes and traits of Paboyan in Amadou Sane. And if you look at Njaga, he's like the Ansumana. He's like the Ansumana Jammeh. This is what they do. And the question to arise, why not the son? And this person who knows them very well said, the son is not very responsible. He's very flamboyant, he's very distracted and so on. And the person reminded me, remember the son was sent to America. He was, this is the reason they brought him back from America, because he left here as a high school student, did not do well, and they brought him back. And when they brought him back, they sent him to Mohammed Jah to mentor him. But he ended up dropping out on that. He is more onto a party lifestyle than others. And obviously, Barrow did not see him fit now to do things. This is why Amadou Sane is taking prominence. Now, Amadou Sane taking prominence, to look at him as Paboyan is technically he's running the farm. Just as Pabojang used to run Kanilai farms. I mean, not only Kanilai farms, the Kanilai enterprise for that matter, everything Kanilai or Jamme was run by Pabojang. And Sumana Jamme was a little bit more educated, was doing other things, becoming a diplomat, so that to be a gatekeeper, do certain things, and get into the other shady businesses. This is what they're doing. And Pabojang running into the politics, running the sponsorings and everything. We have seen that evident now. Now, this guy is out of the shadows. What's his name? Amadou Sane is out of the shadows now, engaging more. And he got his Taliban, the most useless Gambian ever, Modu Sabali, running around, going to football fields, going to these things, distributing. This is Pabojang. Exactly. Exactly. Now, let's move on to the other segment. WinWin failed and JV was born. Several sources familiar with the overdraft facility given to WinWin claim the presidency was involved. This claim was made. The president's spokesperson, Amiboyan Sissoho, said neither the president nor his office participated in influencing or had any involvement whatsoever in the facilities and so. Shortly after the facility for WinWin started rolling, it became apparent that they could not deliver. Kebe told the Republic that two potential suppliers they contracted failed to deliver. Now, imagine this. This was what due diligence. You think if the due diligence was done properly, no, he cannot deliver. The guy is a scammer. It failed. But Ami Boyan would have to, my sister would have to say that. He's my sister, or my wife. She would have to say that. What else we expect? But let's go through this report and what we know behind the scenes. And we'll explain that. By the first quarter of 2020, the internal documents from Ministry of Finance showed a company owing the bank 15 million in unpaid charges, disbursement and interest. Kebe did not deny that they made some losses, as cited in the bank's document, but he could not quantify them. He said their losses were due to the failure of the two suppliers they contracted who failed to deliver as requested. How can that be? He cannot even tell, because he doesn't care, because he knows he's not going to pay. And you know, all these dodgy people, corrupt people are liars. The characteristics of the corrupt people is a liar. Now, in the assets of WinWin, a company recorded at the company register that stopped filing returns by end of 2020, a new JV general trading import and export was registered 22nd December 2021. Now a new company is coming in. And now listen carefully to the new company called JV. This is where we're going to establish that it is the same WinWin, and we are going to establish that Amadou Sane was behind WinWin. These are facts. Now, because the company register will tell you. Now, even WinWin, this JV have stopped. Now they've gone to another company. We'll get to that one. On paper, you know, when journalists say on paper, they are that's a caveat. This is we see on paper, we are not sure what's behind, because what we are uncovering here is completely contrary to what is on paper. This is what they say. On paper, the president's nephew, Amadou Sane, owns 45% of the business. His wife, Awa Sinyan, owns 10%, and one Mohammed Zain holds 45%, source told the Republic. That according to their register, Sane and Zain were part of the beneficial owners of WinWin, though they are not company shareholders. The only two collateral at Megabank to support the facility for WinWin were pledged by Mohammed Zain and Amadou Sane. Tell me this is a lie. Tell me this is a lie. Tell me this is a lie. Now, Mohammed Zain, Amadou Sane were the collateral to WinWin. You see, Alaji Kebe was the front. This is Paper said, Alaji Kebe was a front. He's a fraudster, a front. How can you take a fraudster to be a front? Because they think they can control the fraudster. They don't go to even to an established business person to do the deal with. It is telling us that the company, JV, now actually is coming from the asses of WinWin, in the sense that on paper, and I'll classify why on paper. On paper, Amadou Sane owns 45% of JV. Amadou Sane's wife owns 10% of the JV, that's 55%. And now someone called Mohammed Zain owns the Mohammed Zain Zain holds 45%. Most likely Mohammed Zain doesn't own any 45%. It's just like in the case I explained with Baba Joe being used by Jammeh and others. They don't own 45%. They are just used as a register. And I forgot to check this, whether this Mohammed Zain is the Mauritanian or not. If he's the Mauritanian, it will even confirm this more. Now, but what they're emphasizing here, the only two people at mega banks to support the facility for WinWin were pledged by Mohammed Zain and Amadou Sane. Kebe said that though Mohammed was working for WinWin as a marketing manager, Amadou is very close friend, is neither a shareholder nor a director. You see, you see that audacity of presenting, oh, Mohammed Zain was working for me. Amadou Sane is just a friend. Are we to accept that? No. This is the reason, again, this is the reason why they allow, how to call it, Alaji Kebe to get away with this. And if Ami Bojan Sissoho said no influence from State House, that's not true. Because of the involvement of Amadou Sane to WinWin, this is why it happened. We all know there's no ordinary Gambian, there's no that will make so ministers, board ministers, the board of Megabank, the board of Central Bank for that matter, Central Bank governor for that matter, would do something this stupid, this criminal. They only do it knowing nothing would come out of it. This is what the president wants, and that's because of they are slaves to the president. They will do that. They have no conscience. They have no fear of whatever, and that's why they're doing it. Now, if that's not the case, why these people are not reprimanded? Because they did everything wrong. If the president is not involved, why they are not reprimanded? Is he fostering corruption then? Because this is not incompetency. I'm not going to bring incompetency into this dispute. Boasedi worked at the central bank for many years to a certain level of management before venturing out to the IMF for secondment and came back. And all the other directors, and if they know what they were doing. We move on to it. On the 20th of April 2022, JV wrote to the management of Megabank requesting a transfer of the facility from WinWin to JV. Which company would go and take order someone else's facility with all the liabilities? You see, just imagine this. Now they are asking to might or take over. Listen to this. JV wrote to the management of Megabank requesting a transfer of the facilities from WinWin to JV. In a letter, they admitted being part of WinWin. A letter from settlement admitted to being a part of WinWin, though on paper they are not. Though on paper they are not. But they are coming confessing of a crime. Oh, we were behind the scene. Now we are taking over. Why are they taking over? because Kebe was instructed, because Kebe had an agreement with them that he was doing it on behalf of them. Now they have to insulate Kebe out of it. Now they are going to take it up because of nothing will come out of it, because it's Amadou. The wife, if I say Amadou, consider the wife as Amadou. She has, the Mohammed Zain is Amadou. I can tell you that. Now, this is so serious that, I mean, the collateral pledge for this facility are from the same members of WinWin Oil, namely Mohammed Zain Amadou Sane, said a part of the letter. Even in the letter, they admitted that two of them were part of WinWin and now they are part of taking over this facility. We are ready to take over the whole responsibility of the facility, including all the damage within. This is because we have the opportunity for the Japanese rice grant from GGC contract to supply 100,000 metric tons of rice. You see, I don't like saying that we said this here. I don't want to disrespect the publication. But the fact is, for years I have been deliberating this about the Japanese rice, about the mega bank, about the loans and everything else. Now, they would deny it because they know nothing will come out of it. Now, imagine now, they're coming up to say that we are out of the cover now, though we are not on paper, but behind the scenes we are the one running this company. Now we want to in fact take all the liabilities. Why not Alaji Kebe? They have to insulate Alaji Kebe because they instructed Alaji Kebe. Now they are the one coming forward. Now they're taking all the liabilities. Central Bank should have put a hold on that. We're talking about Mega Bank. I'm saying Central Bank, Mega Bank should have a hold on that, investigate the case and take it to trial. But this should not be extended. The mere fact they're saying this, just showing you the corruption they have carried out. But because of it, the nephew of the president instructions they are going to do. Now, even it's more worrying. These people are anticipating that they are going to control government grant from the Japanese of 100,000 metric tons of rice. They already know they're going to have it. How did they go about that? The president. Why not other Gambians? You see, these are the people who tell you about tribalism. They tell you about all that stuff. They tell you about people talking about them are jealous and or everything else. This is what they're doing. When people are suffering, youths are dying. You think if these monies were invested in industries and others, in other businesses that employ youths, they went and employed a Mauritanian to be their operational director so that we will not see what is happening. The best part of the rice, the Japanese rice, they're taking out of the country to be out on other countries, making more money out of it, and still we don't have our money. GGC is there. I have the paperwork here. I don't know where it is. It's called a name. Let me see the correct name for it. I had the name here before. Anyway, okay, thank you. Anyway, it's in the write-up. It's in the write-up. The GGC is called National Food Security Processing and Marketing Corporation. That's the new name for GGC, Gambia Groundnut Corporation. They used to buy our groundnuts and so on. Yeah. The Japanese aid. Yeah. Thank you. The GGC is a former name for Gambia Food Security Processing and Marketing Corporation. The Japanese rice they referred in the letter is a grant the Gambia government of Japan gave, government of Japan gave to the Gambia government to distribute among the country's poor. However, the government often sell the rice when asked if he was aware of the transfer of the facility from the company to JV, and the letter to the bank to the effect Quebec claim, not that I can remember. Quebec is saying he can't remember this transaction. He would say that, but this is what they did. But as Nyang Jai said, yeah, They give it to support the poor, but the government, which is not bad if they do it as they said, see it more prudent to sell the rice, take the finances of the rice to support projects that are linked to the Japanese, like the fisheries, like the agriculture, fertilizer, and so on and so forth. But we know that that doesn't happen. Instead, they are now using that grant as an extension for Barrow's businesses. On the 11th of May, the board of Megabank approved transferring the 230 million facility to JV. The bank's decision went against its credit risk policy, which forbids the financial institution from granting such credit facility to companies less than 1 year in their line of business. At the time of the transfer, JV was only 5 months old. Everything with this facility was exceptional. If we had followed our credit risk policy, we would not have approved this facility. A source familiar with the transaction told the Republic. Now, this is clear again. Now, Quebec is not part of this. Now, how did they assess JV? They assess JV based on the same person again, Amadou Sane. If they have followed the due diligence and followed their policy, they would not have approved it. Why did they approve it? Because of its Amadou Sane. Amadou Sane because of this President Barrow. It's the family. It's the family. These things are not going to be answered until we remove Barrow. And that's the only time. Barrow will never fix this. Nobody. Barrow saying, or I had someone told, Barrow said he was going to corruption, even his family members. We all know that's a lie. He's the most corrupt president ever. He takes kickbacks in brown envelopes, physically. We have witnesses to that. The day comes, he will be surprised. Witnesses come out that they witnessed him taking cash. And there's a witness, in fact, we spoke to the other day, a very credible person, who witnessed in 2021 before the elections, a guy called Musaba, I don't know, who works at the president's office, going to the GRA, at Yankuba Dabo's office, taking the luggage, you know that luggage you put in airlines for 10 kilos or something like that, taking cash more than several times, let's say several times, to the State House. There are witnesses available. This is why he is fighting to dismantle the Auditor General's office, to control it, just as what is happening today what they're doing now with Central Bank, removing people and putting people that would do what they want. It continues to say, the Minister of Trade and Finance, all copied in the correspondence, transferred the underwriting it provided for WinWin to JV. This document, as captioned above, is unconditional approval to transfer the said government underwriting to the benefit of JV General Trading, Import and Export. The Minister of Finance wrote on an addendum signed by Minister Sidi Ketha and the Permanent Secretary Ablai Jallow, and sent to Megabank on the 20th of May 2022. Sidi Ketha was the trade minister when this started. Mambure Njai was the finance minister. Boasedi is still the governor of Central Bank. Sidi Ketha was promoted after all this enabling now to finance. Now he continued to oversee the financial, this operation. You see, this is how Barrow appoints them. It continues to say, this underwriting replaced an old one provided for WinWin, signed by ex-finance minister Mambure Njai, who was the then the finance minister. When contacted, Njai declined to comment. They will not comment. Mambure Njai now is appointed as ambassador to Saudi Arabia. This is how Barrow kept them. Under Section 46 of the Public Finance Act, the Minister of Finance can issue a loan guarantee only upon a risk assessment done by the Minister of Finance and presented in writing form to the minister. The beneficiary of the loan must also pay a fee to the state to cover the credit risk of the state, unless the cabinet determined otherwise. There is no evidence this was done, and President's spokesperson said he was unaware of the facility. You see? Thank you. Thank you. Records at the company house shows that 11 January 2023, Sane and his partners changed the name of their company from JV to Ecotra Group Limited. At the time, the business was fully involved in importing rice and cooking oil from India and Malaysia, custom record shows. This is classic way of money laundering or fraud. Now, WinWin to JV, JV now to Ecotra. The same way, I can tell you. They have couriers taking money to Dubai for the First Lady. They have couriers taking money to Senegal and other places. And some of these couriers are in the diplomatic service. And they take this money to those countries. They are buying properties now in Turkey, in Dubai, and other places. Now, mainly, in fact, the First Lady now is more of an operational laundering money from the charity. You see, these things are not new. Macky Sall's wife is in trouble for that as well. It's not new. They're laundering money through the charity, donations, and all the kickbacks. All the kickbacks are coming through the charity company. Kickbacks from drug dealers and everything is going through there. That Ibrahim Jabi, that was involved in the cybercrime deal. That's why the cyber, we'll talk about that another day. That Ibrahim Jabi involved in facilitating the cybercrime Chinese people here. He was involved in facilitating doing the logistics for the drug deal that the Gambia Navy was involved. He was the one who bought the Tobaski for the soldiers and other stuff. He rent properties, warehouses for the drug dealers. And he's not using his name, but we know that he's the one behind it. He was involved in facilitating the Russian link to the Gambia. When they took over the operation from the Ghanaians that brought the Russians, he was the one responsible with the First Lady. The kickbacks, he was the one taking the kickbacks and even carrying money for the Russians to Dubai. This is a government we have. They are part of the cartel. Now, the board now, they have a new company. On the 11th of May, the board of Megabank approved the transfer of the 230 million facility to JV. We done that. Meanwhile, the Minister of Trade appears to have lost track of the facility until they received questions from the Republic on the 22nd July this year. 6 days after receiving questions from the Republic, the Minister wrote to Megabank asking for the total amount of facility utilized and the repayment status of the cost owned by WinWin. Why WinWin again? They are even asking for the wrong company. That's how they have gone through past the threshold. Can you imagine this? They don't track it. They will not do that. They will not do that. Now let's come to the other part. Now the second part, the first part has established in writing that Alaji Kebe, WinWin, was involved in getting these facilities and so on, and he failed and he ended up owing almost 15 million to the bank. But our analysis have established that Amadou Sane was behind the scenes and Alaji Kebe was a front, and that's how they did it. Now the second segment we dealt with have presented the evidence from the write-up that actually this is what happened. That Amadou Sane came out and with the wife and Mohammed Zain to say that, oh yeah, we were behind the scenes of WinWin. Now we are taking the responsibility, taking every liability of it. They are in, and now let's forget about our front man. We have disposed of front man. Now we are here. Now, what they did in the second bit is use JV to, in order to control and take over the assets, whatever they did. They said the liabilities, they're not going to pay for it. They take over the facility because it will be difficult for this thing to open the other facility. Now they take over the facility. Now, until they establish that the facility is open for them on JV, they have now jumped onto a new company called Electra. You see what they're doing? Close, 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 open, close, and before you know it, it disappears. Yes, and another point, let me list. When they go to they have open businesses in Dubai. It's easy. You go within 3 hours, 4 hours, you can open a business in Dubai. This is why all criminals now love Dubai. They go there, open business, not in their name, in dodgy things, and they put the money there. And next minute, they use that company name to buy the property. This is how they're doing it. Let's go. Now, the new phase of the new facility for Ecotra. When Megabank was sold in December 2023, the debt on Ecotra overdraft facility, initially approved for only 6 months, was 175 million. This was at least 2 years after the facility started rolling from June 2020 to July 2024. The facility was then extended for them, and by the first quarter of 2024, the company paid its outstanding debt to 88 million. The debt was restructured for another 6 months. You see how they allowing them to move around? Which Gambian would have this facility? It's because of Barrow. It's because of Barrow. In July 2024, the bank, now in private hands, subsequently approved another 326.1 million new facility for the company again. Records seen by the Republic shows a similar 326.1 million facility was given to the state-owned National Food Security Processing and Marketing Corporation to import rice into the country. Our source at the bank have informed us that though Ecotra currently pay a significant portion of this facility, it still has over $100 million in debt to settle with Megabank as of this month. Let's put it this way now. Remember the way and manner Megabank was sold. I said that Wage and the Congolese, and they are not only Congolese, but they are Congolese and Cameroonian and others. I mean, they're from that area. They are a syndicate. They call them syndicates. That syndicate with Wage bought this company. Now, this is only reason Megabank will give out the loan. And Megabank are giving it because there will be a sovereign guarantor. Sovereign guarantor, the state will guarantee it. They will guarantee that they will be paid. They will allow it because they were given a favor. Or even probably Barrow owed shares in that this thing. We don't know. Probably Wage is holding a share for him, or they structure it in a way that he has his kickback coming. This is the damage they've done. And let's bring it here. My understanding, let me caveat this. It seems that there are multiple loans. And I can tell you the loan going to the 226.1 million going to the National Food Processing Marketing Corporation is linked to Amadou Sane. It's linked to Amadou Sane. We'll get to that. In February, a popular Gambian social media site, What's on Gambia, blew the whistle on the company operations, and shortly after the website appeared to have been taken down. On the site before it was inaccessible, Amadou, an electrical engineer graduate from Gambia Technical Training Institute, is described as a goodwill ambassador for the government of the Gambia, focused on trade, foreign trade and investment matters. At the same time, Ecotra is said to have been authorized by the Gambia, the government of the Gambia. You see what I'm saying? They are using it as giving it government endorsement, giving him passport, appointments, and every power, vest all those state powers onto him when it is a private business. Which Gambians has that? You see, this is for Barrow. This is for Barrow. It continues to say, the company said, there's something I missed on that. Yeah, the Ahmad's wife, our senior, is the brain, you see. Our came into it, now our is the brain. Ahmadu is not serving. Our is the brain. Our senior, as we remember, it was published. We opened Gambia, Watson Gambia, and others, not the mainstream papers. We know they don't, because they are not even published in the headlines of this dossier. Because most of this public printing press in the Gambia, they are allocated land, they have their allocation letter, but they haven't got the deeds yet. This is what they did to SFL. Now they give you the letter, you hold it, say, we give you land here. Now they'll be quiet. That's why the drug deal, I reported and everything, they will not pick it up. They know everything. The soldiers arrested, they will not pick it up. They are quiet. Ahmad is controlling them now. People are saying, oh, they were paid 40 million. No, forget about the 40 million. They go move on to another one. And this is the same things that happen in Senegal. That's why now all the media houses in Senegal are in trouble. The same playbook. They would not, they might never give them that list. But they will control them with that. Don't be surprised. Now, the point is, why bring down a website if you are a legitimate business? Why are you hiding? That our Sinyan was reported fraudulent purchases of air tickets, airline hires, and stuff like that. She was working at the State House. They got married. Now she's running the business. Behind the scenes, she's the brain, giving her 10%. The company said it is expanding into construction, energy, flour mill, cement production, and a cooking oil processing. You see now, what did I say? Go and look at dictators. That's how they take over countries. They'll take over the entire. Right now, Gambian businesses are crying because they are working with Indians, they are working with Turkish. The new ferry the Turkish are operating, Amadou Sane has a hand in it. One of our senior relatives, I can't remember the name, is put in there to monitor the operations. This is what they do. Everything would end up to being Barrow's, just as it was Jammeh's. Because remember, Jammeh did not, at the beginning, Jammeh did not have the relative to use. He used Baba Diop. Rice importation, every business, this thing, Baba Diop, and he liquidated Baba Diop, then brought in the nephew. After so many years, brought in the nephew and then the brother. And even to the flour mill, if you go to Kamalo, by Steam Corner, that flour mill business that Social Security was into, and so it was brought in here by who? Ansumana Jammeh. By Ansumana Jammeh. Or it's not a flour mill. It was a animal feed. Those silos we see around, animal feed was by Ansumana Jammeh, and Social Security had to put money in it. And look at that. All those investments went nil. Now, these people said now they are overnight. No Gambians. Gambians are not created. This is what we have to read through this. The youths are dying in the back way and others. Youths are desperate for jobs and everything else. The government would not venture in one way or the other, create an environment that manufacturing and others will happen. No. That would be for the Gambian people. Let's do our own. Then Barrow will own it. Barrow will control our feeding, petrol and everything Barrow will control. And this is how they make us still, we could not benefit from the oil we have. We have oil. We have the potential. Let me just say that. But if if we have a day to discuss this again, you see how Barrow was trying to make sure he have control there, and he got played by far oil. And this is going to come. We're going to bring this up. We got played by far oil cash in and left. A government, competent government, can determine whether we have oil or not. And it's very highly likely. Technically, it's impossible to say that we don't even have it. But that's for another day. Now, the company will be going to construction. Now, imagine when they go to construction, government contracts, we're going to come to them. They're going to bring in things. We're not paying levies, not paying fees, not paying those. I mean, the energy, NAWEC and others might even go to them. I mean, flour mill. I mean, now even the bread you eat will be by them. Cement production. I mean, and all that. Cooking oil production. And Gambians. And I did not even read into that reaction from them, because it's stupid even for them to try to react like that. Oh, Amadou is doing this, Amadou is doing that. Crap. I'm not going to even entertain what this thing. From our own money, our own, using everything, facilities we have. When today hundreds of Gambians could have benefited and distribute the wealth. That's how countries develop. But they are doing generational wealth among themselves. This is why we need to change this government. They will not change themselves. Reforms are leadership-led. Revolutions are leadership-led. We need leaders to ensure to do this. Gambians are ready and waiting for those leaders to emerge, and we'll do this. It continues. The contract seen by the Republic shows that the central bank issued a corporate guarantee for the facilities of Ecotra Group and NFSPMC. That's the food company. See, I said. This is the 300 point something million. It's about let's say almost 700 million. Is to benefit Amadou. Let's come to this company again. The National Food Security Processing and Marketing Company. Again, to show Barrow's hands. The person they put there is Mohamed Njai. Mohamed Njai is the son to Modu Alaji Musa Njai. Alaji Musa Njai. Alaji Musa Njai was the person that brought up Barrow in Banjul. Mohamed Njai is a brother to Papa Njai. It's called Papa Njai, the Gambian ambassador to Nigeria. Just a minute. Gambia ambassador to Nigeria. Now, you see again, Barrow put a family member in that company. Now he's working to enable Amadou to do these things. That Mohamed Njai, I will keep on repeating this, bought a property about a year or 2 years ago, Bakau Newtown South, just almost at the boundaries of Fajara. Bought the property in millions, dismantled the property, and built a story building within 6 months. And this is how evident of stolen money. He doesn't have it, and let nobody tell me, oh, it's from a rich family. That's a lie. I don't want to get into that, but anybody wants to bring that, I can challenge you. We know how Gambian businesses operate. Most of our our parents end up with liabilities. Banks and other things and nothing else, especially huge family interests is nothing. Now, it continued to say, a source at the central bank told the Republic that the combined facility for Ecotra and this and the National Food Security Processing Marketing Corporation was over 200% of the capital of Megabank at the time of the issuance. It's over 200%. Can you believe that? It's over 200%. The recklessness of our central bank, and this Bois said will come out and lie. Our monetary policy is rigid. It's a lie. This is why the dynasty is gone to 100. I mean, someone is giving it for 102 to 96. I mean, what's going on? We are not, the deficit is just going up, borrowing, taking money from IMF and all the others. Why the revenue we should be gaining from GRA is not coming totally on us. They give them target, oh, we hit the target. Nonsense. And you hit the target of the that you put for Barrow and yourself and others. We move on. And for any such facility over 25% of the bank, of the capital of the bank, the regulator institution, the Central Bank of the Gambia, is required to issue an approval called a single obligor waiver, allowing the bank in question to exceed lending limits. This is twice. They do it with WinWin. They're doing it with Ecotra. Because it's the same people, it's the same Amadou Sane controlling this. According to source from the central bank, Mega Bank capital is currently 300 million and expected to increase to 500 million by the end of 2025. Now, just know that Mega Bank is in the hands of Barrow, because he sold it to Kaluluwage and his syndicate. We call them syndicate. Had the central bank not been involved in this themselves, this should have warranted a red flag from its supervisory department, said a source at the bank. We contacted Megabank for comments since last week, July, but have not heard from them until this publication. The Governor of Central Bank, Boaz Sedi, who also received questions from us since last week of July, has said, July has not responded either. This is what we have. This is what is running the country. Now, why are we fighting among ourselves? Oh, about our tribes? Which tribe is benefiting here? No tribe is benefiting. Families are benefiting. If you look at Barrow's family, he have all the tribes. He have all the tribes in the family. Mandinkas, Jolas. The sister was married to a Jola. I think she's got 3 or something, which I know. But others might be even married to others. We are all intermarried. They use this as a political tool. Let us not fall for it. Boiseli, Mamboure Ndiaye, how to call it? The Sidiketa, and who else? They're all, Modu, Mohammed Ndiaye, and others that facilitates. Why do we think a particular tribe is controlling us? No. A tribe is not benefiting from this. All tribes are hurt by the cost and everything else. Poor hospitals. There's no hospital for Fulas, Jola, Sarahole, or Manjagos. No. As markets or anything else. But the cabal, their families, generational wealth. In 8 years, Barrow have become rich as them. I can tell you that. And I'm saying this. I'm not saying allegations, and I can go to court. That the proceeds of drugs is facilitating the Barrow's clan, the farm. The corruption is doing that, and everything else is here. And now Gambians should understand why they're targeting Cisse. Modu Cisse of the Auditor General. If the Republic that did not have authority, they have ways and means and dedication to find out, can access this. Imagine a governing body that have authority to investigate. Just imagine that. When they get to GRA, that's why they're stopping them from getting to GRA. When they get to when they get to this transaction here, they are looking into this transaction, and I think it's more revealing. When they get to the land, actually they have a land investigation as well. Barrow is stopping them. This is why Barrow is desperate to stop them. But this is, we say congratulations to the Republic always, and we pledge Gambians to support. This is not an easy task. I mean, on social media, in the hearts of Gambians, Mohammed Swandi Dabo might be very, Mustafa Swandi Dabo might be very popular, might be very liked, but I can tell you the hostility, the dislike on him, and there's nothing you expect from these people. And it's from our support and standing with him that can make this, and the people he works with, it's not him alone, that keep us holding the front for us. It's not the print media. It's not the print media. They are, most of them are in the pockets. They're in the pockets. They are part of our problem. Again, with all this, the youths are going out, publications have been done, but our political class, the opposition, not fit for purpose. In any country that this happens, where you have a vulnerable opposition, you have seen the reactions, not writing press releases. If you want to dislodge Barrow, prepare now. It's not going to be an easy task. Don't expect to go to the ballot and win on the ballot and not ready to defend it. I can say that today. I've been saying it and I emphasize it. You think someone who sits on something like this, and this is just the smoke coming out, you think what the fire, you're going to extinguish the fire by just calling out, I've won the election? You can declare winning an election, but you do not take it to state house. We have got to that level. Barrow will step down if Gambians take this seriously. Will not go to Tatam. If Gambians let Barrow to go to Tatam, Gambians will have to uproot Barrow. Not because of we win elections, not because of we will defend the win. If you fail to defend that win, ready to take it, you are not going to dislodge Barrow. This is why it makes sense for us to come together. No single party can go out there to dislodge Barrow. And politicians, and people for that matter, if they don't have ownership in something, they will not sacrifice. In most cases, people don't really sacrifice. But imagine if they don't have ownership. This is why you see in Kenya, the youth will go being brutalized and everything. You will see in the opposition. Because the opposition seeing that if the youths are empowered and they join the youths to change, the youths will have share and they will have leverage and they will hold them accountable, because the opposition are not looking for a change. They're just looking to take over the government and continue. It's the same farm, it's the same families. This is why in Nigeria you are not seeing change, because the entire leadership of the politics and civil society, everything else, it's a farm. State capture. They just want to replace each other. That's why you see the same people running for elections all over. Same political party will intermarch, whatever it is, and come out, and situations will continue. The poverty and everything will continue. The malpractice that brought that country to almost tear it into pieces. The country that have all the resources, human capital, every other social capital, the natural resources and everything else, is one of the most backward African countries right now. Why? Because of failed leadership. Gambia is not our lack of resources, we have them. Look at the money they're playing out with. You think any of these businesses will succeed? It will not. And don't tell me, oh, because Allah will not. Yes, Allah will not, but it will not succeed because they don't have it. And it's easy money for them. We can come out here, talk about all this, but if we are not ready to be serious, to support, we all have contributions. We support, actors, political actors, civil society actors, investigation journalists and everything else. We need to give them our support. That's the only way we can bring about this change. Barrow is not going to change. Barrow is incapable of change. It's rotten already. It's a matter of moving forward, and we have to stop him. The more chance we give them, the worse it becomes. And I can tell you, if we don't do this democratically, if we don't do this democratically, as we have witnessed in other countries, no need to call them. Sri Lanka, and other Nepal and other countries we have seen it. The population will rise, led by youths, and we'll have a complete destabilization because it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. Thank you very much, guys. It's been a long one. Yeah, and have a good evening. Thank you.
Hey, Macky Sall xeex na Sénégal waaye xeexewut ni Ousmane Sonko xeexee te jox nañ ko réew mi non Gambia dëgg neex yàlla man dëkk boobu noonu man moom léegi yi ma bëgg a wax ci politique yëpp damaa taal suma plateforme di ko wax because am nga ñi sentiment ak ñi nga xam ne dañoo dox ak seen emotions dañ bari te dëkk boobu noonu soo xamee politique bu baax politique amul maslaha ba réew mi kenn jël ko su ko kenn jëlee nag wax ji la moo jeex ba élection war a ñëwaat ci la wax ji di ubbeekuwaat waaye yéen NPP ñëw ngeen ne nañ leen xajal is all one Gambia everybody is entitled to their opinion. You guys even know what opinions is all about or fan lañ war a use opinion or fan lañ war a nangulee nit ki opinion am ak ideas am ñun our ideas and our opinion and our mindset is Adama Barrow is not good, NPP government is not good. So why do we need an NPP, somebody come dafa ñëw na dafa debate ak ñun na waa Adama Barrow lii Adama Barrow laa Adama Barrow lale? It's all doesn't make no sense. Doesn't make no sense. There are a lot of people yoo xam ne ñu ngi ci corner bi gëmoon nañ li nga wax ci Esamba gëmoon nañ li nga wax ci Lawyer Darboe benn nonsense bu mel ni Adu Boy Swiss ñëw wax boo xam ne daf laa leer ni is misleading and that person that individual person bi nga xam ne xaloon nga ko convince maanaam jaxase nga maanaam ci diggante bi because Adu Boy ngi ñëw wax loo xam ne duul boo xam ne kenn xamul lan la. So these are the type of things you have I understand. Hold on, see Baba. Segam see Baba and Muna convince. Man, gum nani see Baba left to the IS. I believe that 100%. But Segam see Baba and Muna convince. See Baba get a PDIS. The first time Magis PDIS supporter win convince Mudem to Adama Barrow. And to say again,
Assalamu alaikum. Li tax may dee di support sa plateforme mooy yow da nga gis Gambia te da nga gis foyantu bi nekk si plateforme
ma diggante ak yàlla foyantu bari moo nekk si plateforme yi anti sega
man foyantu laa ko ooyee
foyantu la
waaw because lii ñuy foyee nii burka démba li xew Gambia su Gambia yëpp ñu ñoo turn against Adama naka la tudd Adama Barrow nga xam ne Gambia gisuñ seen dëkka bu ko ñu suñ dëkka man feel dama gis nga image yi def Aliou Ba niñ ko sànnee si truck bi mënut a génn si suma kanam
suma diggante yàlla
lim humiliate Mamadou Cissé mënut a génn si suma kanam because man doomi Gambian tigi laa te these are my brothers ñu taxaw pour liggéey bu rafet pour dëkk bi nii ñun ñëpp ñu ngi jël suñu fi nga gis comme ni nga ko waxee rek ñiy eeg si ñi nga xam ne dañ am xam-xam dem nañ si naka Europe gi jàng bi seen boppa yi naaca ñooy taxaw si plateforme bi di ñu confuse di indi wax yoo xam ne ñun we don't need all that nag all those wax li ñu need mooy ne naka la ñooy génnee Adama Barrow ñu tànn kenn koo xam ne comme seen nawle la fii nii taay mi Yaya Jammeh maa ngi fàttaliku ñun ñëpp ñoo daan toog benn place ñuy wax ne dañ ñii koo xam ne dafa naka lañ ko waxee ku jàng la ku am expérience la pour ñu ñëw jiital ko ñu génnee Yaya Jammeh loolu lañ daan wax tey Essa Mbay Fall bàyyi liggéeyam ñëpp bàyyi njabootam liñ gis rek mooy pour jakar réew mi ak pour defar réew mi yow nga nekk youth man nga nekk doomi réew mi ku liggéey si biir government bi xam naka laa demee nga ñëw taxaw si plateforme di jaxase xel nit ñi it is not fair waxuma ne ñëpp dañ war a ñëw si naka lañ ko waxee si Essa Mbay Fall waaye nga dem si beneen côté sax moo gën nga taxaw di support naka lañ ko waxee Adama Barrow suñ dëkk bi bàyyi leen ñu
ba ngeen ubbi seen on platform sa di waxtaane Adama Barrow nonsense man boobu noonu
waaw
yow doone man anti sega man mënuma understand loolu yow yaa ngi ci xeex pour jëriñ sa réew doone ma yow ki nga xeexal tey kooku mooy sa friend boo xam ne di nga mën a toog ak moom di waxtaan ak moom ba pare féewale la moo indi déggal Adou Boy démb waxi nonsense yu mu wax mu ne moom he is not apologizing to the Gambian people but he is apologizing to the individual bi nga xam ne moom la doon di waxal ma ne ko yow to hell with you
waaw loolu wane na boppam Adou Boy yàgg na di suma xarit la
Adou Boy rek mooy the only guy boo xam ni dafay toog nga wax dara anti sega mu ne la dinaa make sure ni ñu arrest la
waaw man gis naa ko si social media bi gis naa ko bind na ko bii du first one boom bi na de
ba pare nit ñi naan mistake man leen kii mistake lan every day you do the same type of mistake
definitely
because xam nañ ne Gambien si seen xol yi xam nga Gambien bi nag ma wala dara three quarter Gambien si yëpp ñu ma ko sañ a wax ñoom ñëpp ay naa feqa lañ ñoom ñëpp ay naa feqa lañ man mënuloo maa wax ni da nga bëgg man mënuloo maa wax ni sa kër dafa naxari te ki naxaril sa kër kii la diw sangam bii la waaye tey su mbedd mi mun ngaa wax ci diw sangam boobu lu ñaaw soo tiimee diw sangam boobu nga ko retaanal di kakakakak Adama Barrow dama seetaan benn vidéo mu ngee romba yenn xale yu jigéen voice youths laa dégg ñuy query ak soldat bi police bi ko gaat sénégalais bi ne ko waaw doo ñu move yow sénégalais bi ñun kii suñu président la dañ bëgg a jël ak moom picture yéen ngeen ne dëkk bi dafa naxari te yéen ay toogaat ci plateforme ne Adama Barrow nii su Adama Barrow eggoon ci plateforme nga dégg Gambien si ne waaw nañ leen ko jox yaat nañ leen ko jox lii kilifa la dëkk man I don't care about that kilifa man if you wrong if you not good you not good to me I do not care about kilifa nga oo ñàkk kilifa bugguma déglu sa waxtaan bugguma toog ci yow question si ma laa laaj daf laa trigger boo xam ne billahi wallahi taala soo waxee dëgg di nga sebenu man that's what I believe
man balaa ma daaneel suma wax bi fil dama bëgg pour ñu wax Gambien si ne dëkk bii fii mooy suñ dëkka fii la suñ jumbax yi nekka Gambia bu dëkk ba na ñi Guinée Bissau la ñoo gën a dóol si West Africa
Gambia moo
5 years waaw 5 years la jël Guinée Bissau fil tey dinaa la yónnee nataali Guinée Bissau naka la mel mu ngi am benn boy mu ngi tudda Ousmane fi mu ne nii sax dafa change turam bi foog naa ñu nekkaan koo toppa mu ngi ragal dafa change turam bi léegi xaw ma saf something la tudda waaye dinaa la ko yónnee nga gis Guinée Bissau dafa set bi boy bi mu ngi mook sax Gambien si mu for benn minti because gisuma fa benn dara lu tilim nekk fa seen tali bi ñu ngi ko raxas ba mu set wecc mu for minti boobu noonu xooliti minti bi mu ne lii na ko ne Gambien moo ko fi saani because Guinée Bissau dépassé nañu 5 years rek la leen jël ñu toog fii nii si suñu dëkk bi nga gis ñu nekk si plateforme bi di kaf di ree man déedéet ñëwuma pour kaf dama gis maa ngi si dëkk bi maa ngi dëkk biir Gambia xam naa naka la mel ak naka la méttee si ñun moo tax man su ma ñëwee li ma wax Gambien si ak youth si laa dee waxal ak méttiti Gambia man foofu laa dee em because bugguma ay wax yi nga ñëw indi fi Essa Mbay Fall ñu naan la invest fii xaalisam ba yëpp mu nga fële hey
xam nga ñooñu those are the myopic minded people ñi nga xam ne ñooñu xamuñ lan la ñoo wax ak understanduñ
exactly government bii nii amut ku amut appartement
anti sega yaa ngi dem de Mambay soxla naa la ci kaw you know anti sega dem na you know keroog fii la Mambay doon diw am nga man yenn yi man dafa am yenn yoo xam ne
lighter them off dama doon switch to my data
lighter them off
fii nii lighter them off gis nga liñ dëkkee so su ma meree dafa am reason pour mer because kenn warut a dëkk nii si jamono ji ñu nekk man comme ni ma ko waxee gis nga ñu am plateforme yi ñu ngi leen a ñaan nañ leen jël suñ dëkk bi ñu jël ko ñu fulaal ko for the first time in our lives 2026 bi nañ leen ñu génne ñu ñëpp ñu dem saani pour suñ dëkk bi change ñu mun a ànd ak àdduna si est-ce que fii lañ bugg a nekk
fii la gaay bugg a nekk de
dafa dem digital wall bi dafa dem digital loolu nañ ko bàyyi suñ xel bu nga ni ñooy am président boo xam ne dafa toog ubbi laptop am di wax téye cell phone am bi bind speech am bi taxaw di wax ak nit ñi askan bi that's what we need foofu la wall bi toolu ñun suñ time man nag duma xaleel suma time ñi ma mag àndandoora mënatuñoo nekk président fii yéen it si seen time la tànna leen seen président te ñu bàyyi caaxaan bi ñi nga xam ne dañ foog ne dañ jànga bi yëy kayit bi bu ñëwee waxuñ leen dara lu dul ne nañ leen ñu seet dëkk bi ñu muuf dëkk bi bu leen dëkkul te kenn fii maa ngi laa waxal ne képp koo xam ne mu ngi ñëw ne moom independent la.
Pare dinaa ko bàyyi ma anti sega may ma 1 second ba pare
am na fu mooy faral.
non li ma bëgg a wax mooy bala nga àggali man ku egg ci kaw plateforme bi di ma wax ay dalul ak relax ak politique ak yi kenn xamul bilaay lu ma la rus dinaa la wàcce de. waaw because of man moom plateforme yi jàmbur moom dinaa mindful how I talk and whatever you don't like I'm not gonna do it but fii lu leen neex ngeen wax bem des ngeen a ñëw di be so emotional about Adama Barrow wàllum bon suñ leader la ak nonsense man he is not my leader man leader boo xam ne gëmuloo sa nit ñi leader boo xam ne yërëmuloo sa askan I do not consider you as a human being I do not give you no respect you don't have my respect Adama Barrow NPP no member of NPP and my respect man maa ko wax man
waaw loolu noonu moom dëgg bu wér kenn waaye li ma wax rek li ma advice ñi nga xam ne ñu ngi am plateforme 1 year 6 months moo des gis nañ Banjul burka démba ni mel képp koo xam ne fii nga jutoo sa xol neexut ñi nga xam ne seen xol moo neex mooy ñi binda ne nañ gaas xale yi daxa xale yi pumus leen daaneel leen def leen lu bon lu nekk ñooñu ñoo gisut Gambia te li waral ñu def loolu xam nañ because nekkuñ si dëkk bi xam nañ lu tax ñu waxee noonu because brown envelope si ñu ngee daw fii nii ñëwoon naa fii nii balaa lii yëpp di xew ma ne leen NPP ñu ngi tasaare nit ñi si TikTok bi pour ñu ñëw def personal attaque si Essa Mbye Fall so suñ amee ñu noonu ñu ñëw di ñu challenge si suñ plateforme yi nañ leen wàccee quietly because ñoom itam ñun niñ amee suñ plateforme ñoom it mun nañooy dem ubbi seen plateforme ñu wax lu leen neex waaye lu ñooy def li ma ngee gën a naxari ñu ne dañooy lifin la dañ war a indi bàyyi ñëpp not in our platform pour nga ñëw taxaw pour xas suñ ki nga xam ne moom la ñooy advocatal I think ne loolu is grossly unfair sooy ñëw sax naga ñëw nga ànd ak agenda bi ñu def foofu noonu waaye gis naa foo xam ne plateforme yi soobee yàlla mu ku taxaw di wax naan Essa Mbye Fall lii Essa Mbye Fall daf doon fen bi mu waxee lii can you imagine si plateforme yi Essa Mbye Fall ñun nag ñi lifin nag nañ leen dee bàyyi suñ xel naam bugga ne ñooy ku nekk ñëw ñu debate ñu waxtaan si respect si yar ak si teggin waaye bu buggee dépassé foofu nañ leen wàccee quietly ci ñaar topic bi fu fiñ nekkoon
mbaa ngaa ñëw di laajte nit ñi ok yow lan nga gis ci Gambie ñu ñëw naan la waaw man I have my youth I have my this I have my that yow di ñëw di jaay agenda boo xam ne yow taxawuloo kuréel amuloo party amuloo nonsense waaye suñu la laajee the situation of that country nga ne yes I'm working with the youths I'm doing that youth man come on man
yeah fii dëkk bi is sad it is really sad sometimes dangaa jël rek nga déglu leen nga xam ne nga laaj sa boppa est-ce que ñii li nit ñi feel about Gambia
they're not feeling it because they want their own interest. A lot of people are fighting right now. They're fighting for their own pockets on the low. Because xam nañ ni tey soo jaayee sa ngor gis nga Gambian bi nag anti sega du dof de te di ngeen bettu bu baax a baax 2026 lu garaaw laa leen a wax nii Gambian bi gis na already ñi nga xam ne jaay nañ seen ngor nuñ leen a nekk di leen xasee so ñi ci desi tuuti ngor te bugg koo jaay dañ naan faruñ fen lu garaaw laa la waxal ni man politique laay wax ak yow de.
xar nañ man fil man nit rek laa xam. nit rek laa xam képp koo xam ne yaa ngi wax ne yow ama gisaguloo kenn gis na bu yàgga
na
foofu noonu mu fa laaxu te xam na soo
ñun amatuñ boo xamante ni dañoo teg ay benn cin understand nga si situation bu Gambia nekk nii ñun talatuñ ay politique yi parti yooyu noonu because ñun ñoo war a won dëkk bi ne ñun dañ am fula am fayda dañ war a génne suñu dëkk bi si guuta bu mu nekk nii understand nga lu ma min talatuñ time boobu amatuñ time boobu xaalis bu ñoo wees pour buñ ko weesee forward balaa ñu ko wees ñu jox ko ñu akañi you know what I mean?
So Adama Barrow is too much, man.
Exactly. So ñu dañ war a am Gambian bi si boppam moo war a am fula am fayda si boppam moo xam lakalam si boppam moo xam lakalam waaw
respect boppam bu mu jébal boppam all these political leaders man loolu laa bañ
exactly soo bee yaa fu taxaw na fa taxaw man loolu laa wax de man de moom loolu laa wax soo bee yaa fu taxaw na fa taxaw ni nga jàppoon ba mel nii soo ko bàyyee wala wéykat baa ko wax de te soo gisee ñoom ñuy tub di ñëw di naan ok nañ def kañ la bëccëg jot nii dañu
waaye yéen a ngi say si suba si de lu xew ni asalaamaaleykum
yes
bay fil
waaw
amal fii lu xew
ma bàyyi kenn mu ñëw
ba ma ñëw
Antoine antiesa
Mariam lu xew xam ne suñ dëkk bi fi mu toll nii ñu ngi koo café te ñun de café wuñ suñ dëkk bi dafa métti moo passé fi mu ne nii nañ la ñu wax affaire yi dëkk bi nañ la ñu wax affaire yi 2026 loolu la ñooy wax because dafa bari si plateforme yi ñuy dem around te ñi si gën a mën a discourage nit ñi mooy ñi nga xam ne ñu si diaspora bi ak ñi nga xam ne dañu jànga ñu war a joxe forcé Gambian si fu ñu vote la ñu mu dëkk bi si fu war a dem waaye li ñooy ñëw di wax lu tuuti loo wax laan boo wax ne lii pour Gambia dem kanam ñu taxaw foofu Gambia loolu du mën a am tey si first 5 years yi government pour ñu koo def te yeneen dëkk yi di ko def la tax ñun Gambia ñun doolal suñu bopp ñun loolu la ñuy waxtaanee ñun doolal
dégg nga d'accord naa ak yéen d'accord naa 100%
loolu daf dee métti si
d'accord naa because gis nga
loo teg keneen teggi ko xoolal
gis nga ak man Gambian si ñun si seen boppa ñun ñi nga xam ne ñoo nekk si ron di vote ñun ñi nga xam ne ñoo nekk si ron di sofa gis nga diaspora bi ñu ngi soona de because ñu ngi contribute waaye li ëpp ci coono gi yëpp ñun ñi fa dika la léegi man gis naa plateforme si sax ñu ngi ubbi di wax loolu di wax naan ñu ngi def form coalition ci ron di def yeneen ak yeneen mënu leen a mënuñoo form benn coalition bu président political party si bokkut ñu win Gambia amut yenn youth suñ mun a form ci biti te political party si bokkuñ ci ñuy win election so bu loo wax jooju wax yu yàqu la su ngeen buggee dimbale dëkk bi digga da ngeen di politicians si ñoom ñëpp ñu ñëw on board ñu stand di electable ak winning candidate waaye toog foofu am seen plateforme yi ne yéen a ngeen form si ron ay xale di leen dajale di def youth yoo xam ne su ngeen paree taana président taana leen ko ngeen seet mooy division bi kon ñoom dimbale wuñ Gambia mooy benn hatred bi ñoo wax rek dañoo wax nee moom dama bugg a Gambia maa ngi xeexal Gambia kenn xeexalu fi Gambia Gambia si dëkk biir Banjul daal di sonn ñooñu ñooy def seen liggéey man daal foofu laay waxee
kara mewtal tuuti
loolu la because
waaw
man nag maa ñëwee wax ji du mën a neex
ci seen parti
kii kañ dara du fi naxari
man suma problème mooy man soobee yàlla day support
gëm naa loolu maa la
waaw loolu moom dëgg la waaye lu ma gisee soobee yàlla plateforme bi di doxalee ànduma si tey ànduma si ëllëg and I have my reason
waaw what is your reasons
because man dama dee dem si plateforme yu bëri bon any plateforme ma bugg a wax waxi soobee yàlla dañ ma dee wàcce wala ñu mute ma wala ñu block
fan ci ban plateforme
non plateforme soobee yàlla
ok
plateforme su ma demee plateforme yi APRC su ma bëggee wax su ma commencé wax rek
may mama wax la am na foo war a correct de foog naa da nga juub si wax
xaaral mu ñëw rek
non bàyyi ma daaneel lu ma wax mooy mun naa start fu ma commencé ma ne plateforme soobee yu bëri nu ma gisee ñu dee doxalee
neexut ko
anuma si neexul ma and then this is my reason because my reason is man suma demee si yeneen plateforme yi yeneen political party duñ ma allow ma jaay suma agenda duñ ma allow ma wax anything good about ESA suma munta wax si ñoom lu ñoo wax te support ñoom lu ñoo support dañ ma mute wala ñu block ma wala ñu wàcce ma
jërëjëf
so ma gis ne man suma ñëwee si own parti bu ma bokka ñuy entertain ñoo xamante dañoo ñëw di wax foofu ay nonsense di distract nit ñi for hours
this is what I said
duñ mën a jaay suñu agenda
d'accord naa ak yow
man dama feel ne loolu is a nonsense and
constant d'accord naa ak yow 100% démba rek ñu ngi ko fee
fii ñaata ay ñoom man lu ma jaaxal mooy lan moo tax NPP plateforme ñoom duñ ko dee ibi
man loolu jaaxal na ma
always NPP bàyyi ko xel Phil bàyyi ko xel NPP guys
man ma leen bàyyi ma dem parce que man nekkuma soobee yaa de
déedéet
nekkuloo NPP tamit
non man UDP
toogal
déedéet bul dem toogal
non NPP moom soo fi nekkee da ngaa wàcce waaye UDP toogal it's okay
NPP plateforme si yow ban plateforme bu mag nga fi gis boo xam ne NPP la mun nañ koo ibi am nañ followers yu mën a ibi plateforme bon ñu ko def dañoo ñëw di buruxlu si te bàyyi ko xel only APP Sobeya plateforme la ngay di ñëw di distract because xam ne ñun right now ñoo poñe internet bi so dañ distraction boobu noonu we don't have to allow that because right now ñun duñ mën a nekk si crucial state bi Gambia nekk si buta gi ni ñuy allow ay distractions yoo xamante ni dañoo ñëw ñoom they only do that to seen xaalis seen poche ak la fa ngay nekkal ñun this nonsense we don't have to entertain it and then it has to stop because right now we don't have that much time we have 1 year just few months to go and then we have to ñun right now bro sometimes soo nekkee si platform yi you have to be a dictator foog nga nekk a dictator because yeneen platform yëpp that's how they run their platform and then it's working good for them and then we have to do this duñ mën a nekk ay ndey ji sérité de jaxaanaay fu nekk ni gatsa la rek duñ disrespect kenn duñ wax kenn dara waaye
xam nga fii soo fàttale ko soo bàyyee xel fan yi nii constant fan yi yëpp maa ngi wax loolu ne leen gis nga APP lifin am NPP plateforme si sax waruñ leen a allow ñu dem di dugal foofu because su fekkoon ne dañoo ñëw constructively ñuy waxtaan di waaw buñ leen ne seen government bi def ne lii ñu d'accord waaye ñu ñëw wala ñu defend sax constructively nañuy waxtaan waaye dañoo ñëw fekkale si sa biir waxtaan yaa ngi jaay sa agenda di def li nga bëgg a def pour sa parti li tax nga ubbi sa plateforme ñu ñëw bëgg laa distract jaxase sa wax bi yëpp su ko fee ñëpp yu lose seen thought si commencé waat fresh loolu lañ dee def nañ ubbi seen plateforme su yeboo ñu ooyee ñu dictateur su fekkee ne noonu la nit ñi di gisee that's fine su fekkee noonu la nit ñi di gisee that's fine
lu si gën a bon ak lu léegi gën a naxari suma xol bi
ba nit ñi duñ dee fee xamuñ liñ dee war a wax sax
ñu continuer si luñ nekkoon de léegi affaire si dañoo def dafa nekk questions and answers yëpp mu dem si moom ñam ñu ko laajee question nag mu toog mel ni king ñun lan lañ bugg a si ñun changes lañ soxla ndax ñun dañ lu tax ñun ñu bañ suñu boppa man loolu laa mun tax understand booy affaire ñun Gambien si booy ñu koo xam ne yow kooku ngay xee kooku ñëw sa plateforme bi yow nga koo laajee question yow nga expect ne yow sa problème dina solve
ma daaneel foofu ak the second problem bu ma am mooy
okay go ahead
naka la nit di ñëwee si plateforme at right now Gambia si crucial state bu mu nekk nii ñun si jéggum siraat lañ nekk you cannot be on the fence doo mën a taxaw si yoon ne people have to go either nga daanu safara wala nga jàll arjana dangaa gis ku ñëw mu ne moom bokkul fen right now Gambia right now ngeen ma bokkuloo fen ngeen ba tey maa ngi seet yow how many political parties soo fi nekk political party yooyu soo waxee ñu ne moom supportuma Barrow that's your right yaa ngi understand ba pare yow nga ne political party fi nekk ne kenn doyul la kon su la kenn doyul bro nga samp sa political party nga ñëw kon
te ñi ñooy
nga génn sa si plateforme yi because
ba pare ñi ñoo dee ñëw si plateforme su di distract ay faruma fen wala gars NPP and then honestly we have to put this to stop it doesn't make any sense
ku wax loolu rek naa fi yàlla hypocrite lay no
xola baala ma interject ma wax fii dara maa ngi dégg Jobis yaa ngi binda waaye Jobis waxuñ any political party égal APP Sobeya fine you have okay NPP su leen neexee ngeen wax ne Sobeya dictator lañ in that case bu leen neexee waaye ay ku mel ni Cissé ku mel ni Adou Boy kenn mun nga koo convince so su fekkee yow mun nga koo convince yow Jobis yóbbu ko PDOIS seen plateforme nga convince ko ñun duñ ko entertain sax period
waaw ba pare ma wax leen ne xam ne ñu ngi koo wax mu ngi dem si dëkk bi bu baax a baax te war nañ see bàyyi xel démb am na ku ma waxal mu ne ma na ESA génn si ñu arrest ko because Sonko noonu la defoon ñu votal ko. Can you imagine seen mindset yi? Essa is the only candidate out there boo xam ne mu ngi nekk si mu ngi leen a support guddi mu ngi leen a support bëccëg gisuñ benn candidate bu génn put life am on the line but Essa ngi toppa xale yi nii suba ngoon guddi bëccëg ba démba sax in YouTube ku fa dem dañ wax man démba dama tiit sax ñu ne ma fa am ko ba call mu ne ma Essa dañ ko arrest balaa maa mun a am Essa pour call ko pour seet fan la nekkee jël na ma time because moom itam mu ngi nekkoon on a meeting dama am pour call ni ma ñu ngi nii dañ nekk dañooy mit tontuma ni ma déedéet maa ngi nii am fine so all these things ñu ngi koo gisuñu benn candidate boo xam ne mu ngi put life am on the line waaye ñu ne ne Essa dem ñu arrest ko
te mu ta arrest Essa suñ ko arresté dëkk bi dafa taaka
you know so ku dem YouTube di ko fa gis ñu ko fa def
non waaye loolu wax la ñooñu dañoo wax rek
waaye damaa wax rek ne
waxu dara lu bon deful dara
waaw li ma wax rek ma daaneel ma explain dan lay wax li ma wax mooy ne li xew Sénégal mënut a xew Gambia li Ousmane Sonko ak Macky Sall play foofu noonu du tuumalante di def yu kenn xamul amutu fii amu fi te Essa mooy suñ only hope for a better Gambia duñ ko put out there pour ñu arrest ko dañ bëgg a 2026 is just around the corner lim mun a def mooy def press conference
Mariam lu tax ñu ne pour ñu génn xanaa bu génn in what cause pour ñu arrest ko
non dañ bëgg mu génn ñu dóor ko bal non uyu ma dañ bëgg mu génn ñu dóor ko bal mbaa mu génn ñu dóor ko mandat dépôt 2 years yaa ma non xam nga Gambia
non Gambian si dañ feebar sax
seen stratégie bi ñoo jiw non xam nga lan moo xew gis nga tey lan moo tax tey right now Pastef mu ngi xaw a divide tuuti a little bit but ñu bari duñ ko mën a understand right now mooy plan bi Ousmane Sonko fogoon ni am na ko achieve na ko ci Macky Sall achieve na ko de because bëggutoon Macky Sall nekk flag bearer right waaye di same plan bi Macky Sall bëggoon mu achieve ko ci Ousmane Sonko def na ko fexe na ba Ousmane Sonko nekkul président te soo leen ko seetloo li ma leen a wax ni dama bëgg ngeen bàyyi ko xel bu baax a baax man xalaat rek laay wax soo leen ko seetloo li dal Lawyer Darboe 2016 bem indi Adama Barrow ne ok Adama Barrow ñëwal toog Adama Barrow def ko vice président salaamaaleykum maaleykum salaam mu kick ko out jaxase ko ak askan wi su amee Sénégal bu mu leen bett su Diomaye Faye kickee out Ousmane Sonko as premier ministre Sénégal bu mu leen bett lu garaaw laa leen a wax nii.
la du am boy bul change wax.
non dama exemple rek laa leen a wax nii.
nako bul la dugg foofu
balaa xam nga li tax ma isi exemple boobu mooy lan.
oncle ana suma nijaay ak suuf de baax na daal.
non xam nga li tax ma xam nga li tax ma isi
loo wax mais meeg na seen de
non kara gars yi understand nuñ xam nga lan tax ma wax exemple bi boy gis nga suñu waxtaan dëgg man dama dee bëgg ñu dee waxtaan dëgg 2014 ba 2016 xeex bi Lawyer Darboe xeex biir Gambia as a freedom fighter benn leader xeexut ko Gambia te the potential candidate bi nga xamoon ne gisoon nañ ko 2016 Lawyer Darboe la woon Yaya Jammeh understand loolu very well moo tax Lawyer Darboe Yaya Jammeh bi Lawyer Darboe di génn rek la ne ko karab ci kaso bi Essa Faal dina génn su waree génn dina wax su waree wax dina xeex su waree xeex waaye tey ban xeex la ñoo xeex bi nga xam ne moom mooy mujjee mooy xeex bi nekk ci table bi ñu waxtaanee ko xeex boobu la ñoo xeex waaye tey duñ sacrifice any leader right now ñu leen a téye di yaaxal suñ
fii Essa Faal li law abiding citizen la lu ko loo bi may laa def lu ko loo bi may du ko def soo nit ñi nañ noppal seen
yéen soo leen fogee ne xeex réewi Gambia mooy génn saaga ndey président bi génn tooñ def lu dul right ñu ñaf la ci kaso bi international body bi duñ la mun a génne kenn du la mun a génne doo mun a qualifiaat taxawaat pour
doguma la def waaye tam boy loolu yomb naa answer na Gambia
suñ paree
ku la wax sa façon wax boobu mos nañ maa wax boobu waaye gis nga ku ma ko wax lu ma ko tontu dafa yomba dama ko ne ñun Gambia amuñ aji saar pare si waaw that's it because dafa am yoo xam ne bu leen dee waste seen time nañ may oncle mu ñëw booy mu faj ñu woon
waaye Gambia am na ñu gën a dangerous Adji Sarr oncle Joor ko si woon tey
maa ngi leen di siyaar yéen ñi Dr. Phil Anti Yesa ak ñeneen ak ñeneen ñi
baay nuyu naa la
Anti Yesa xam nga Phil mi mooy kan Anti Yesa moo Phil kaya service
bàyyil wax ji ñu waxtaan am na yu dama la ko ne wax bàyyil wax ji ñu waxtaan dinaa la indil sa waa ji de
déedéet boo ko indil
man fàtte naa kon after di ma ko wax after di ma ko wax
kii saraka la
after di ma ko wax
waaw xamee ko jël ko si ron mu introduce boppam bu baax
waaw baale Phil dina la kool de
nga xam ne benn kër moo doxoon seen diggante benn kër waaye dégg naa li ngeen wax
sa diggante yàlla
suma diggante yàlla benn kër moo doxoon suñ diggante anti
bu daw de
dëgër fitam bi yëpp fi mu ko jëlee ak dëgër xam politique am bi partes googu la di waaw léegi du ñëwaatee back to the question and back to the answers ñun Gambia and Sénégal dañ war a xam ne bokkuñ political strategy bokkuñ ko at all because of li Sénégalais bi ñemeñ pour def ko ñun fekkuñu si because of since in this after colonial eras bi gaa amee seen independent si la gaa yi jël seen xaalis bi du ko dugal si dëkk bi pour gaa yi jànga gaa yi jànga nag du ma ko waxee waxuma jànga toog bangi school rek ni bindaka right comme suñu technocrates yi leen de ooye sàccakat yu mag yooyu noonu nga xam ne kenn leen xàmmeeyatul si biir sàccakat yi léegi Adji Sarr ñun bokk ñun Gambien ñun dooñu tuumal si façon boobu bokkuñ si léegi lii suñ wax ji mooy Essa Mbye Fall gars yi du ñu ko mun a génneel si mbedda bi ñu koy saam ñoo bañ du ko doon def sax dañoo téye tànkaami hankof ko si lalam bi mu toog bu ko dañ ko soxla te right now ni gars yi di mun a damage image politicien si nga xam ne ñoo leen against loolu la ñoo def sakantuma Essa is a threat to the nation not to the nation but to the regime te fekk Gambien si xamuñ ne politique bi nga xam ne moom la APP sauvé di doxee nekk seen own personal interest ñun suñ interest nekku si am na ñoo xam ne ñu ngi toog si panel bi nekk Gambia musu ñoo lekk alali nguur te ñu ngi tedd ba tey ñu ngi si panel bi dafa am ñoo xam ne yàlla daf leen teral démb laata tey dafa am ñoo xam ne dañ téyewoon seen kàddu bañ a wax ba tey nag ñooñu ngay gis ñuy wax Gambia dañ war a xam ne ñun suñ government bi dafa violate all constitutional rights yoo xam ne moo nekk Gambia yoo xam ne moo nekk Gambia fekkee dañoo wax rek ne loi ñoom violate nañ everything man suma brother bi Adama
yóbbu Sénégal la yoon nga bàyyi gift yu ndaw yi wax naa la tànn beer bi amu fi tey
man daf ma betta betta bi mooy ñun dañ foogoon ne dañ ñoo génne from 22 years of dictatorship and everything indi la teg la fa by mistake because du collusion boobu xamoon ne nii la moo demee barke Nabil Mustapha duñ ko fa teg te doo gisee ba tey ñu am skeptics si yëfi collusion la fa daloon la ñu daloon lañ bañ mu dalaati ñu jiital fakastal
jërëjëf
te even duñ amee collusion ñu ne jiitaluñ Essa Mbye Fall na la woon ne kuñ fa jiital we are going back to the same shit mu neex ñu mu naxari ñu because ñoom ñi fa toog noonu yëpp di xëccoo réew mi ñaata at ñu ngi xëccoo réew mi te yàlla musu leen koo jox yàlla nag mun na laa jox popularity and everything wala munu laa jox the kingdomship te loolu mooy suñ problème right now loolu mooy suñ problème xale yaa ngi nii ñu ngi leen tëj tey la gaay waroon a defaat beneen conférence waaye dañ nax gaañu du ma wax fi gaay nekk si téléphone si fii nii du ma ko wax xale yi ñoo gën a muus gaay dañ leen nax dem nekkaat feneen def li ñoo def waaw ana Gambian xale yi ak paa yi ana Gambian si xale yi ak paa yi ndax dañ bëgg a bàyyi gala rek ñu yekkal leen rek easy ride ana youth si ñi nga xam ne ñoo tax gala ñun man suma kaddu du pour mandi suma kaddu du pour mandi suma kaddu du pour yeesa suma kaddu du pour fil suma kaddu du pour keneen ñi nga xam ne ñooy ñëw ëllëg bro ndax Gambien si dina añ 25 by 25 land sax in the near future fekkee dañ ko fa baree teg seetal bridge yi yëpp di daanu di toj de pare noonu la seen road si di yaaxoo yéen ñi dawal moto nekk Gambia countryside si ñoo wax ne ñu ngi tabax tali da tali dafa nekk ndax lopitaan bu baax dafa nekk ndax ambulance bu baax dafa nekk ndax sa Gambia am nañ fire brigade bu correct
no they don't
yéen a ngi waxtaan si fi Adama kooku bàyyi leen ko xam nga ngay fen ba làmba sa xuuri ngeen dëgg jëngal ma si kàddu yi fen ba làmba ko ne nekkatu fi moom moo dal suma rakka jooju because dina dugga si dibéet di fenal Adama Barrow rek mel ni yow doo doomi Gambia dëkkul Gambia te mu ngi yónnee moo tax mu mel ni ba pare di order thing li ma gën a surprise feel dinaa la ko wax mooy brother Ñang Njaay daf ma betta ba sa kanami yàlla
so leen Adu Boy sax am na koo fay daf te dafa woon
maa ngi ñëw rek ñoom ñëpp
waaye am na ñoo xam ne ñu ne ñoom faruñ fenn waaye ñu gën a bon Adu Boy
Ñang Njaay dafa dem ndekete jënd si moto yaay jaame yi non ko dégg ñu ngi koy wax man lu ma déggul duma ko wax
waaw dinaa ko laaj
Range Rover
explain na naka la ko jëndee de
warut a jënda fekkee dañoo xeex waruñ see taxa yaabo yi waruñ see taxa ak nu mu ko explainer ñàkk ko explainer daf ko jëndal less price ñoom ñëpp a yem dinañ la ñëw dinañ la wax ay intellectual words yoo xam ne dafa mel ni Victor Hugo ko bindoon wala William Shakespeare wala xaw ma kuñ ko war a ooyee ne moo ko binda teg ko ñu cram everything dinañ wax ba génne la si li nga nekkoon waaye ñun APP Sauvé ñoo bañ te kuy nëbbatu Olof Njaay mu ne ngay naan di mandi di nëbbatu bés boo mandee feeñ faw nga kañang ñun ñëpp Gambien lañ kenn moo fi munta nax kenn ku la xamul kooku xam na sa mag wala xam na sa yaay wala xam na sa papa li gaay di gël di ko teg si kaw APP Sauvé loolu mooy lan ñun APP Sauvé ku fi ñëw mun nañ laa welcome ñun ñooy Gambia
so Ñang range bi ba ay 35 wala 25 taw la ko jëndee boobu moom kamasa la kon
ma ne dafa kama yow Gambia yëpp kamasa la fiil
naa ko laaj because yooyu moom because range yooyu moom range gis nga Gambia nag gis nga lii mooy problème yi Gambia nag wallahi lazim
mu ngi nii fiil
Gambia dafa crazy de
moto bi du range de
du range
non dama fàtte man maak la waaye du range
waaye xam nga ne yaaya jaame du daan am lu
moto bu seer la moom du moto bu seer la moom du moto fu
Ñang dina delloo moto bi
delloo
dina ko delloo
leen réew mi la di waaw
am na ko dadi os ne Range Rover la kon xëy na Range Rover la ay may bi man dama gis naa mo waaye xamoo ne Range la
ma ne fiil gaa yi ñoo desironte waxuñu la
fi dina turam noonu range bu ees bi nga xam ne dafa bindoon turam si yëpp noonu
waaw Ñang dafa war a leeral affaire parce que range bi moom am na te bari gaa yi gis nga price yi ñu teg foofu noonu
so léegi fiil wax ji mooy dem na ñëw na naka la ñoo defee ba jël li nga xam ne moom lañ moom fu nekk ni Gambia dafa war a smile man barke Nabil Moustapha fii la ma lu ma bëgg a gis man a ñu Gambia bi nga xamoon ne moom lañ ko xamee woon
ma leen naa nuyu yéen yëpp baay ma laa nuyu maam baay
fay bu baax a baax brother jàmbur.
ma ne Mame Mbaye dooguma la de ma ne dama bëggoon a laajte pour xam kan moo doon jaay asset si. Who was the
man
head?
loolu nga maal man loolu xaw ma ko di du ma ko xamul.
So that's the person we need to figure out ku doon jaay asset si.
Déedéet waaye asset si commission lañ tegoon after biñ tegee commission bi moo select ñu doon jaay.
waaye di commission was led by
waaye commission bi am nañ head ku.
waaye yow government bi la.
waaw ñoom Ami Bensouda la woon ñoom Ami Bensouda ak jaane commission bi ñoom Ami Bensouda la woon.
ñu leen war a laajte fan la gaa dugal xaalis bi.
affaire commission baa ngi on right now commission baa ngi on nañ follow leen ko rek.
Okay, thank you.
So
foofu la Mamadi Kurang nekkoon te ñu daaxoon ko.
waaw then the other thing mooy ñu ngi ñëw ne yow fii dama laa def minister of defence nga ne ma non man bugguma minister of defence man bàyyi ma fii rek ma nekk IG yow ma ne dama laa génnee nag sa IG post bi nga xam ne yaa ngi faa def liggéey bu rafet daaxala by force indi someone else ñu ngi wax tribalist ñu ngi koy wax de di ko daw di ko nubbatu te loolu mooy dox suñu dëkk bi dañ leen bàyyi xel Gambia doo gisee waa ji pare daaxa waa ji bàyyi force dafa am loo xam ne xamaguñ ko mu ngi si yoon te dinañ ko xam ba pare seet nga xale boobu gaay téye koto boobu si sànni ko si biir pia yu trog bi comme xar doo ko tebe si but sax dañ la dee wax ne ubbil ko mu noyyi nga téye nit sànni ko
Human right violation la. That's a human right violation. Even nit ki soo ko arrest sa nekkul noonu you have to arrest him soo ko arrest sa you know what I mean you have to use a reasonable force. You know, you have to use reasonable force, but that was not a reasonable force. Bro,
journalist guy téye di leen arrest teguñ ko fen wéeruñ ko fen so which mean ne man li may wax ne loo si nekk Gambie yëpp la di sitting regime amin violate seetal bridge yow nga tabax bridge bi di toj ba di daanu déedéet ci fii nii ñu xala place bi tubaab sax dama ko fàtte moom laa doon topp
dëgg waaye Gambia scamming bi dafa bëri bridge buñ sampa muy daanu scamming bi bëri na
yooni kerawaan bi sooy dem fële
waaw
yoon bi dafa dog
tapit
waaw nga dem suma area fële Sukuta Latrikunda road buñ fa def lifin noonu boobu amul 7 years sax soo demee
kara
Philippe al ma miit gars yi continue
waaw kara laa bëgg a laaj naka la gisee UDP right now ak what are the potential chances of UDP coming to a coalition ak yow loo gis
man suma parti bi nag dafa jaxasoo de dégg wala dégg parti bi dafa jaxasoo man man léegi dama dee xaw a jifop
yeah I know
man xam nga man ñu nekk town laa dee yërëm
ñun ñëpp billahi
soo gisee may wax fii ñu nekk town la ñun ñu ngi cool fii ñu mun nañoo toog fii indi suñu famille bi yëpp fii waaye xam nga ñu nekk town dama leen dee yërëm torop so man Gambia ni ma ko gisee Gambia am na 60 years plus okay Gambia mu dem fen te even doomi aadama soo demee ba ay 60 something yaa ngi xalaat lifin retire fooguloo okay so ñun nit ñaa ngi dëkk yaa ngi xalaat retire dëkk yaa ngi repair ñun ñu ngi start pour bill loolu dëkk boobu est-ce que dina dem dina jafe de su moo dem mën naa yow duñ ko fekkee bro ñun dañoo wax nii rek suñ njaboot yi la suñ doom yi la ñoo lifinal xëj na ñoom seen time dina tane waaye ñun suñ time buñ ko xalaat sax ñun suñ time dañu war a indi koo xam ne dafa cool mu ñëw mu build lifin institution yi mu reform everything waaw ñu set everything standard after ñu mun a doxal réew bi lu ko mooy non dëkk bi man mënuma understand gis nga Demba Sabally agriculture gis nga agriculture ñu leen lifin 1.7 billion yaa ngi gis nga loolu
non gisanguma ko 1.7 billion
waaw loolu leen war a jox 1.7 billion te nawet bi jeex na
dollars right
xaalis boobu la gars yi teg boot right now so xaalis boobu su ñëwee gars yi dañ ko defee campagne kaay no yeah right now suma tight suma best friend mu ngi South Africa from Angleterre la jógee dem
fund the Gambian government ñu wax ak ñoom ñu stop the funding.
Yeah, okay. Dafa dem South Africa. Am na yenn xar yoo xam ne ñu ngi South Africa. South Africa rek la amee. So kooku dafa bëgg a def business boobu pour yóbbu leen Gambia, you know. Am na ay béy yi yóbbu neen leen Gambia. So xar yi ñoo des. So after, you know, ñoo waxa kii Demba Sabali pour mu jàppale leen. Xam nga waaye transit lañ war a am because benn cargo du dee dem Gambia, you know. Plane cargo ni. Okay, do they muna dem Gambia? So Senegal nga de lifin nga la ñu def transit. So right now Senegal dañ change system bi ñoom ñu ne you know buguñ ben animal lifin fa you know. So you know guy allowuñ leen. Why transit you know is possible. So guy yu ngi waxa Demba Sabali pour mu jàppale leen si loolu. You know moom mu ne leen ne ñoom mënuñ si dara ñoom mënuñ si dara parce que Sénégalais lu leen neex leen day def. So ñoom mënuñ si dara. So right now, mudna 1 week, suma boy, you know, mu ko call, do they nango jël telephone am. So gis nga suñ ministre yi nu nekkee Gambia. Duñ mëna jàppale kenn.
Gis nga du ko waxoon ne ko am nga fa 5 xar wala 5 nak.
Yeah.
Du bagage si ñëwee na la wóor ne dina def loolu.
Pambaay jërëjëf wax nga wax bi yëpp jërëjëf
transit la transit dañoo wax waxuñ ne dañoo wàccee animal si
man xam na man wàcce naa container Sénégal you know transit you know okay moto yoo xam ne moto yu fa nekk they are more than 8 years ñoom ñu ne seen dëkk moto boo xam ne is more than 8 years you know du fa dee daw so transit obviously mun nga am transit foofu after ngeen dawale ko yóbbu ko Gambia loolu is normal. So li transit
Sénégal mané bro sorry de Sénégal suñu waxee loo seen Njaga Njaay yaa gën a màgget Njaga Njaay da nga toog xoolal yaa ngi gis tali bi mu ngi fa daw
bro xam ngeen lan la leen ci understand gis nga ñun dañ am lu nëpp loo xam ne suñ poxataan yi nga ngi nii di nëpp ne leen waxtaanee loolu understand ngeen woon Sénégal dañ am seen fula am seen fayda dëkk boobu mu ngee dem de ñun nag
non waaye
sax non meele ma rek gis nga yéen gis nga ñun dañ gis nga soo ne yow bokkuloo NPP yow mënuloo lijjante dara biir Gambia loolu mooy dëgg bi understand nga suñ la xamee wutee NPP yow mënuloo lijjante dara biir Gambia loolu mënut a possible understand so ñun ñoo war a xam ne ñun xam maa ngi jégalu de suma waa ji moom daf waaw nee nañ rek la problème si moo gën ñuy divert lu ñoo wax nii understand nga di demee beneen boor ñun dafa am foo leen ñu fekka ok you stick with the plan ñu work together ñu dox bi ñu wax bi that's it fettig lusti loolu rek la
waaw thank you Mahatma gannaaw yokk dara tam mu ngi wër si